What's going on with y'all, man? We tapping in on the second off-season live stream that we had going on, man. A lot of good football. A lot of good football taking place these past couple of weeks, and unfortunately, the two teams that we're discussing today were not a part of this past weekend. So we're definitely here to chop it up with my guy Vocal Vike. We got my guy Vocal Vike in the building. Vocal Vike, what's going on, brother?
What's good, man? What's good? Appreciate you
Hey,
having me on tonight, man, for sure.
appreciate you jumping on, man. You got had a lot more emotion than us going on this year. And I mean, when you think about the last time we had you on, uh, man, week one was so long ago. We had so many different opinions on, what's happening with both of our teams. And I mean, here we are in the playoffs. So how you feeling about overall the playoffs? Obviously the Vikings are not in it anymore, but how did you feel going into it and where your team ended up?
I mean, clearly disappointed, right? Like I was thinking about it today too, like looking at all the other games, including our game, like we were the least competitive team in the playoffs. So, I mean, shit, man, it was disappointing to say the least, man. Hopefully next year is a little better. I mean, at the end of the day, man, there's only going to be one team that's ultimately satisfied, one fan base that's going to be satisfied. I mean, getting to the Super Bowl and not winning, that stings. I mean, even the teams that lost yesterday, I'm sure it stings for their fan base too, particularly the Ravens, man. The way that game ended, man, that was nasty. I
Man,
just couldn't imagine. But man, I mean, look, man, the Vikings, it is what it is. We're kind of used to it as Vikings fans anyway. So it's one of those things we just kind of keep it moving and hope for better next year, man, for sure.
100%. I mean, hey, you're room for better, but we need a whole lot better from our side, bro. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot going on our side. Shout out to my guy Omega in the chat, man, saying was good to us and pretty much saying
Shout
I
out,
might
Meg.
be done with football after the season. I just can't do another year like this. Omega, I'm sitting here to tell you that I'll catch you next year. I'll definitely
Yeah.
catch you next year. As a Giants fan, I've said
Yeah,
this,
fact.
plenty of times. But real quick, man, before we jump into overall our stance on our teams overall. We're gonna be talking about a couple quarterbacks that happen to be on the Minnesota Vikings currently. One might not be
Mhm,
there next year. I just want to
mhm,
recap where we were, week one, right? Week one,
mhm.
I had us predicted to, beat you guys, right? Where I had my opinions where I said, hey, I look at position groups. You guys probably have us in the receiver room, but I liked our defense. I liked our front four. And then we went out
Mhm.
there and got spanked. I told myself, I said, hey, Sam Darnold cannot beat us. We cannot go out there and lose to Sam Darnold. We went out and lost to Sam
Yeah.
Darnold, but guess what? 13 other teams ended up losing to Sam Darnold along the way. Your defense that I felt like was lacking stars had a lot more stars on there than I thought. They really did. And
Yeah.
and and obviously, not being a Vikings fan, some names that I wasn't aware of. Best believe I do know them now. Tell me a little bit how your team kicked off the season and overall, what was your expectations like? Your expectations went from, hey, trying to be in the playoff hunt to almost winning, the whole NFC, being the number one seed. So let me know where your expectations kind of kicked off differently and where that set you guys up.
I mean, yeah, going into the season, like the Giant, like when we week one, I felt like our team. Obviously, I had us winning that game, and I got where you were coming from too, and tapped in with TP as well, and but I just felt like y'all still had a lot to build on. You guys weren't ready. Daniel Jones isn't threatening, in my opinion. It was just one of those things where I just felt like this the Giants, we should be able to beat you guys, and it happened, but like after that game, it's like, okay, now we're about to face the 49ers, the Texans. And it's like, all right, now we're really going to see, like, we're facing teams that were supposed to be good. I mean, the Texans turned out to be good, 49ers, not so much. But, we handled them. And when we handled them after week 3, I'm like, damn, bro, like, hold up a minute. Like, I started noticing, like, okay, we have some misfits, what people would call them, the Andrew Van Ginkels, the Jonathan Grenards, names that, don't pop off at it. Like, people don't really know. I mean, a lot of people might know Van Ginkel because he was pretty interesting in Miami too,
Yep.
getting like picking up fumbles and running them back for touchdowns and stuff, plus the hair hanging out the helmet. He's one of those players that's easy to notice. But I mean, we got a ton of guys. We had guys on our team, just to say a couple, Jalen Redmond that came in late that come from the UFL, or I think, yeah, the UFL, whatever the hell the new little league was this year or
Yeah.
last year. But man, I mean, just some names, man, that just popped out, man. And we started playing complimentary football, man, for the first, I would say, at least 7, 8 months. Now, I mean, 7, 8 weeks. Now, we did wind up falling to the Lions, but it was such a close game. You know, it came down to us pretty much. All we had to do, we had the lead. All we had to do was convert one first down, man. That's all. We just needed 9 yards, man, because we ran the ball, 1 yard gain, and then we just kind of 3 passes in a row, pretty much just duds, right? So it's like, then we were 9 yards away to really sealing that game. Um, but man, it just, I mean, like for Vikings fans, a lot of Vikings fans went into the season thinking like, all right, we're gonna win. Yeah, I mean, we might win 7, 8, at the on the top end, and then it turned into 5-0, 6-0, 7-1. We're like, oh shit, hold up a minute, hold up, we got a team here. You know how it is as a fan. You go in with a certain expectation, and your team shows you different. So you're like, oh shit, now you gotta kind of adjust those expectations. And what happened, and what's so painful, I guess, about this year, what's so disappointing was our team dragged us all the way to the last game to be able to win the number one seed in the NFC, win the division, all that. And then you decide to fold. Not just 1 week. That game, it was like, all right, we folded. We didn't win the NFC North, but we're still in the dance. Let's relock in. Let's go on a little 3-game winning streak, get to the Super Bowl. Every Vikings fan felt like this team could do that because they showed they went on a 5-game winning streak earlier in the season, dropped one, and then went on a 9-game winning streak. So we're like, all right, this team could definitely streak. You know what I mean? Like, streaking isn't an issue.
Yeah.
And then we folded again. 9 points in both games. 9 points. 9 points. Weren't even competitive in the playoff game, man. So that was the ultimate oh man. But all in all, man, it was a fun season, man. It was a fun season. And Sam Darnold had a lot to do with that, man. Shout out Sam Darnold.
Hey, shout out Sam Darnold. We're going to be talking about Sam Darnold very, very soon. Hey, once again, man, we got my guy Vocal Vike in here. So if you're in the chat, man, say what's up. Ask any questions we got going on.
Yeah,
we
man.
read every single chat around here. Shout out to my guy Omega. He said, Giants fan since 1985, and the 100th year should have been a celebration, and it turned out to be a funeral. Yeah, man. As you know, it was the 100th season for the Giants, and we made history, but we made the wrong history, brother. We made the wrong history. I think it's very fitting that you talked about Daniel Jones in the beginning, and obviously us not being ready, Daniel Jones not being ready, and he ends up finishing the season on your roster. Very, very interesting piece there for sure. But even thinking about it from the perspective from week one, right? I think our teams both went in completely different directions. I don't have to be the one to, break the news by saying that, but we finished on both opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of where the season went, where we wanted it to go. And we're sitting here talking about the quarterback position. We're going to jump straight into it, man. And I'm going to let you know my thoughts overall on the Vikings situation, because the Vikings have been a team that's been talked about with Giants for a long time. I mean, I'll even bring it up for you.
Yeah.
Dexter Lawrence trade rumors happened at one point.
Yeah.
My guy is going viral on Twitter for a comment about Dexter Lawrence. That was talked about at one point. And then as the season progresses, as Sam Darnold continues to win, hey, is JJ McCarthy on the trade block? Are the Vikings going to be the ones to trade away their quarterback that they just drafted? Overall, my stance on the situation overall, right? And we're going to talk about both quarterbacks on this stream. That's what we're here to talk about. And ultimately, it's going to be one or the other for you guys, and there's a chance it might be one or the other for us. I told myself along the whole way, right? My brother's a Vikings fan. I watch your channel, so I was keeping track of what you guys were saying about, y'all team. I'm like, there is no way y'all move on from a 14-win team led by Sam Darnold. There's no way you move on from Sam Darnold after that, right? And in my mind, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I had y'all penciled in at least winning one playoff game. So, you win 14 games in regular season, win one playoff game. How can you move away from a quarterback that gave you a season like that in a very, very long time? How can we get there? So, we saw the way this season ended, and Sam Darnold had arguably his worst, not arguably, but his worst games in a Vikings uniform the last 2 games. So he gives a bad taste in y'all mouths on the way out. What's your stance on Sam Darnold? Where did you kind of lose the reins on him? And do you think should he be the quarterback for you guys next year?
Yeah. Hold on, real quick, man. Shout out AW, man. He said, "What's up with the sunglasses? You indoors?" Yes, I am indoors, man. But hey, look, man. First of all, it turned first. I'm just real quick, Juke. I'll explain it. I don't have to
Yeah.
explain it to my community, but I'll explain it to yours. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Just real quick. The sunglasses, they first turned into just me. My setup, my computer is down. So if I take them off, my eyes are looking down, not at the camera. So that was one reason, but also my lights are super bright. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm outside. You feel me? It's like the sun just shining in my eyes. You see them reflecting off my glasses here. And then it just turned into a staple. I just think I look cool as hell in glasses now. So now I'm just like, fuck it. So now people just know R.A. Peasy just throws the shades on during his live streams. And it turned out I'm actually going to get some Vikings ones. It's crazy. Right before this show, Juke, I was on Amazon. And I'm like, I need to get me, because that's gonna be my next sponsor, man. I gotta get a glasses, some sunglass company, man, to sign up for your boy. You feel me? So I'm gonna get some Vikings ones. So that's the story, AW, man. That's the story, man. Yes, I wear my sunglasses at night. You feel me? Shout
So
out
for
to me,
for
man.
me, I actually I would put on at one point. We don't do too much winning, but when we returned a couple years ago, I threw on some sunglasses every time we got a dub. So I
Yeah.
definitely can relate a little bit to throwing on some sunglasses. And these lights do get bright. These lights out in front of us
Yeah.
are bright. So I
They
do
super
respect
bright. Yeah, super bright, super bright. But man, like, so Sam Darnold. All right, boom. Going into the season, first of all, before the story starts, right? We have to understand that Sam Darnold was a $10 million bridge quarterback going into it, which is your plan, right? That was our team's plan, was to, hey, let's go get Sam Darnold. There's a couple options out there in the offseason. You got this guy, that guy, and this guy. Well, we picked Sam Darnold from San Fran for reasons, and I know why. It's because the offense is kind of similar. My Shanahan, Kevin O'Connell. It just made sense, right? He was sitting back there. He was learning Shanahan's offense. If he can learn Shanahan's offense, he can run ours. And it was like, all right, cool. He's going to compete with JJ McCarthy. Now, mind you, JJ McCarthy was winning the job. Sam Darnold was actually supposed to be the QB2 going into the, people thought like, oh, the rookie's going to sit and this, that, and the third. But like, as a Vikings fan, we're plugged in. Obviously, we see it, especially us that do content. We're constantly, digging for information, and you consume a lot of it. So I was noticing, and a lot of other people in Vikings Nation just knew that McCarthy was running away with the starting job, bro. Like, he really was. He was running away. Sam Darnold made a little comeback, and it was neck to neck. You would think that Sam Darnold would have just been named the starter from the get-go, and they were going to have McCarthy kind of sit for half the season if he didn't get injured. But it turns out like this. Sometimes like I said, with the team in the totality, you have to adjust your expectations. Me, I wasn't a Sam Darnold fan jumping into the season. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I
Mm.
wasn't. I doubted him. I said, yo, I'm very evidence-based. So like, I'm like, yo, if I go back and I watch Sam Darnold and look at, and I know the team here, this team's different, all that. I get that. And now I'm kind of more of a believer. Sam Darnold's actually made me more of a believer in my evaluation now too, when it comes to, I've always knew like situations do matter, but sometimes I also believe at the same time that certain quarterbacks just aren't good. Like, I don't give a fuck where you put them. They're just
Yeah.
not going to perform well, right? But Sam Darnold kind of made me look at little things different now for my next opportunity to be able to predict what would happen with my team if this was ever a situation again. Because he was talented, man, coming out of college. He had the arm, he had all that good shit. It ain't like he was some 7th round pick or something and we brought him up. I mean, boy was a 3rd pick in the draft. So like, there's obviously some kind of talent there. And man, he started balling. And then it all comes down. This is the sad part about this shit, bro, is it all comes down to what matters the most. And listen, and I've said this to my community, shout out to Skull Mafia in the building, Scoliosis. This isn't us, because they'll tell you too, like our community will tell you, this isn't us bashing Sam Darnold. We appreciate everything he did to us. You want to know why? Because as Vikings fans, he owed us nothing. Like, he really did, man. He owed us absolutely nothing, bro. If you want to be honest, he owed us like 6 wins. If anything, for $10 million, you got to think about it. He overdid expectations, man. And so for that, we thank him. Now, I know you're going to ask the question, bringing him back and all that. We'll get into that. I want you to tell me how you feel about how our season went with Sam Darnold. But like Sam Darnold, I think he's a decent quarterback, man. I'm just going to tell you, though, I don't think his next location is going to be the same as what we saw this year. I'm gonna just say that. I don't think it'll be the same. And that happens a lot in the NFL. A guy will go somewhere in a certain system that looks good, a certain coach makes him look good, and then they think, oh, they give him the bag. Oh, shit, you did good last year. We're going to pay you all this money. And then they get to this other team, and it's like, oh, whoa, this offense is a whole lot different. I don't have a number 18. I don't have a number 3 or a number 87. I don't have a decent running game. Oh, shit. Now I'm only throwing, I went from 35 touchdowns, then 18 touchdowns, with 15 interceptions now instead of 10. I mean, shit just get wicked, man.
Yeah.
But shout out Sam Darnold, man.
Yeah.
Shout out Sam Darnold.
Shout out Sam Darnold, man. Omega saying, I stopped in the channel and say I appreciate Vike fans. They are welcoming and always courteous. 100%. Yeah. I can back that. Shout out Scoliosis, Skull Mafia in the chat. Shout out my guy Paul on timing. My guy Paul says, every quarterback not named Brady or Mahomes needs to land in the right situation. That said, I'm assuming guys, you guess they just made me leave their stream, puking profanity while my kids are.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
My bad. It's all good. It's all good. All right, Paul. We're gonna have to
I'm vocal Vike, man. Hey, if you stay on the stream, you on my boy channel, man. I don't want you leaving his channel. You feel me? So my fault, man. I watch that for sure.
Noted. Hey, I got no problems over here, brother. Just saying. But hey, we'll pull up the stats real quick on here, man. Because like you said, Sam Darnold threw for 4,300 yards, 35 passing touchdowns. He did play 17 games this season, which is obviously a full season. I don't think we've seen a full season of Sam Darnold in a very long time, and with a rating of 102. So my guy was balling for y'all, man. And even looking at it from the outside, once again, my guy was literally, when I think about Sam Darnold and when I think about where he has been, right, I think he was on his deathbed when you think about where he was in his NFL career. Like, this guy went on the Panthers, didn't succeed. Went to the 49ers as a backup, went to the Vikings, and the Vikings drafted a first-round quarterback. Like, the writing was on the wall for Sam Darnold. And expectations obviously were not super high of the man, especially when, JJ McCarthy went down with that injury, as we all know. But just thinking about where the season headed for y'all and where it turned out, man, once again, I was shocked, and I knew, because the craziest, not the craziest part, but obviously New York being New York is one of the biggest things we've seen, right? Mm-hmm. The bar was Daniel Jones' contract. Knowing what Daniel Jones got, knowing what Daniel Jones has done for the Giants and what his production was, it was like, if any quarterback has any stretch where he's doing great, at least get paid what Daniel Jones is getting paid. So you see you guys go 7-1. You see you guys win 10 games. You see you guys win 14. Everybody knew, me included, hey, man, this guy's about to end up making 35, 40 M's next year. He just really is. When you think about what Daniel Jones started getting paid and when you think about, other quarterbacks around the league. I mean, you think about Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield were on the same team at one point on the Panthers, looking like the writing's on the wall for their career. And then they both have resurgent starts with other teams. I think looking at what you guys have as a unit and what you guys have as a coaching staff, I mean, Kevin O'Connell, he looks like a quarterback guru. There's some stretches where, some quarterbacks look a lot better in his system than other systems. When you think about what Josh Dobbs and Nick Mullins and their little stretches that they had with you guys, but a consistent stretch of success for Sam Darnold hasn't happened, and it did this past year. So looking into it and looking what that season ended up, being for you guys. And once again, man, I had y'all. I really liked your defense. That was one thing, right? Like Brian Flores, he had that defense really balling, and it makes me sick because I'm sure you're aware the whole Brian Flores and Brian Daboll situation was a situation in itself. Interviewing both of them, and then the wrong Brian got the text. That whole story was crazy. And thinking about what he could have for our defense. But overall, once again, man, I think it was the right situation for Sam Darnold, as other situations are. And I mean, if you were to ask me, can Sam Darnold go to, and we're going to talk about it, can Sam Darnold go to New York and get the same success? No, no, there is not a world where I think Sam Darnold comes to the Giants and actually plays well for us. But is there a world where the Giants might throw him some money? Unfortunately, it is. There is a world where that exists. When you look at what the New York Giants kind of like put themselves in the position to draft, and when you look at the best starting quarterbacks in this draft, I mean, shoot. Well, once again, we're diving into it all. JJ McCarthy, personally, last year, I didn't think he was going to enter the draft. I thought he would stay back another year, end up being the first #1 overall pick for this class. And everyone says it. You know, there's a chance that if JJ stayed back, he's probably better than both of these prospects that we're seeing, and that's being Cam Ward and Shador.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't know how much you've been looking into the Giants situation, but the Giants are picking at number 3. And in my opinion, we got 2 teams ahead of us that need a quarterback. You got the Titans and you got the Browns. A lot of people are kind of iffy on the Browns, but if you ask me, if I'm the Browns, I'm taking a quarterback. You know,
I don't think the Browns. To be honest with you, I don't think the Browns are going to take a quarterback though. They're better off going in free agency, to be honest with you.
So, talk about free agency. Sam Darnold's going to be the #1 guy in the market. Well, what he did in Minnesota, he's going to be the #1 guy in the market. He's going to get paid top money. My interesting take is, will he get a multi-year deal? Is a team going to, make it a 1-year, prove it again? Is the team going to, buy in? Is he going to want security on his side? Because once again, I mean, shoot, you saw how the last 2 games ended. I think a lot of his old problems started rearing, its ugly head. Because give me a little bit of insight. That last game that we saw with Sam Darnold, there was 9 sacks, but I don't think it's all on the offensive line. I mean, granted, that defense, it was playing well. The Rams had a strong D line, but are all 9 sacks on the offensive line? I don't think so. What were the bad pieces that you saw at a Sam Darnold game that kind of push you away from him a bit?
He holds the ball too long, and that's why and this is something that even during his good games he did. He was just fortunate enough to be able to get the play off. Sometimes it can happen for long enough, and then eventually it gets caught. You get caught up doing it, and that's what happened. It worked for so long that it pulled the wool over a lot of people's eyes. But I seen a stat come out where he held the ball on average like 3 seconds more than the average quarterback, which is a lot because most quarterbacks only hold the ball for like 3.4 or something on average. Like he was holding the ball for 5.8 or something like that. It was crazy, so that's a long time when you're thinking about in the NFL when you got pass rushers coming at you. So it's one of those things where it bit him, man, and then when you watch all 22s with Sam Darnold's performances like that, you come to realize that, he's so in love with the home run ball. He's so in love with the big play. We had Kirk Cousins as Vikings fans. We had Kirk Cousins that was really in love with the, 2 yards here, 3 yards here, 4 yards here. And some games that works, right? Some games that works. Like then you have the Sam Darnold who's like, oh, there's a guy 4 yards in front of me, wide open, nobody around him. But you know what? I'd rather throw this 50-yard bomb because I just want the flashy play. He was starting to look for that a lot. Like that's what he wanted it reminds me of Carson Wentz because that's Carson Wentz's problem. And that's why Carson Wentz's career went downhill for that same reason. He got so used to that 1 year having Alshon Jeffries in them, and they were bombing it for that season. And then he looked for that the remainder of the time, and it bit him. In the NFL, you have to know how to do both. And that's the thing. You got to know to take what the defense gives you in the NFL. In college, it's different. Your offense is all about bombing it downfield, big chunk plays. Okay, you rely on your offensive coordinator to scheme that up, and you're going to be going against 2-star recruits and stuff, cornerbacks, where you'll be able to have that a lot more. In the NFL, it just isn't going to work, right? Like you can't do it consistently. You're going to have to finally realize how to read a zone in front of you. Yeah. And I think that's what Sam Darnold struggles with the most. Now, his numbers this year, you will look back and say, well, damn, like we looked, he had a great season. And that's true. I think a lot of it also had to do with our head coach. I'm a KOC fan. A lot of our fans are kind of, they're like 50-50. I mean, a majority of our fans love Kevin O'Connell, but there is fans after loss, just like any other team, that are like, fire him. Oh, we need an offensive coordinator. And I'm okay with the offensive coordinator argument. I'm going to meet our fan base in the middle of this offseason with that. But like Kevin O'Connell's a dog, man. He's the GOAT. And I think a lot of Sam Darnold's success has to do with that, on top of just having the playmakers like Justin Jefferson Let's not even sleep on Jordan Addison, how great that guy is. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna keep it honest with you, man. Justin Jefferson's a beast. He's had a ton more opportunities, but he's not much different, bro, than Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison is a dog too, man. You know, bro. If you were to throw Jordan Addison, the ball as many times to just as many times to him as you would Justin Jefferson, like I'm saying this, Justin Jefferson's better. That's a fact. He is better. But what I'm saying is there isn't that much of a difference. There really isn't. Like, the only thing with Jordan Addison, he's lacking the opportunity on top of just building trust with whatever quarterback's under center. Because at the end of the day, if you're a quarterback playing for the Minnesota Vikings, you know Justin Jefferson, like, bro, like you gonna try to get him the ball. Like, it's Justin Jefferson. But once Jordan Addison builds his name up, I'm gonna tell you, bro, because he is reliable, man. You know, he's a little smaller, but he plays big, man. And I'm gonna tell you, and I think a lot of that had to do with the success of Sam Darnold, man. Again, us Vikings fans aren't bashing Sam Darnold, and we appreciate the season he gave us only because the expectations were low at first. He exceeded them and some, and now it's just kind of like, all right, the date's over. You know what I mean? It is what it is, bro. The date's over, bro. Like, you know, I'm sorry, bro, but we're not about to tie our franchise to no $40 million a year for Sam Darnold. It just isn't the right thing to do, especially when you went in. I'm all about sticking to the plan. You went in and drafted a quarterback. You want to know why it'll be a mistake? Because let's say this, real quick. Let's dig into it. Let's peel back the layers, right? Hypothetically speaking, you got JJ McCarthy. Let's just say we don't trade him. We say, nah, you know what? He can sit another year or maybe 2, right? All right. Sam Darnold comes back next year, plays like trash. All right. You wind up benching him mid-season or whatever. You put JJ McCarthy in, he plays amazing. He looked like Jaden Daniels, you know, playing ball and doing everything he do. You end up in the same position like the Packers. They're a prime example right now. It's worked out for them in the past, but right now they're seeing, right? You sit a rookie so long, he comes in, he wows you one season or even a half a season, and now your hands forced. Because why? Because they're in their contract year now. You done wasted their rookie contract by having them sit behind a guy like Sam Darnold or whoever you bring in. So now JJ McCarthy has the leverage where I need $60 million a year now. And quite frankly, y'all don't even know if I can play consistently for a whole 2 seasons back to back. You don't even know. You know what I mean? So, like, that's why I'm big on let Sam Darnold walk. We know what's there. Can you win with Sam Darnold? We prove you can win, right? You can win with them. Let another team invest in that. You invested in a quarterback with the 10th pick. We need to see what's up, and we need to see now. So we need to see this year, and we need to see next year. So we know that in 2027 and in the year 2026, after that season's over, do we need to pay JJ McCarthy or do we need to go back to the drawing board? We need to know that instead of being stuck. So that's my thing, and that's how I feel about it. Stick with the plan is pretty much the simplest thing I can say about my team right now. Stick to the plan. Don't veer off.
Yeah. And I think that's probably one of the best takes you can probably have as a fan. And even for your GM's sake, that's going to be the approach. You know, I had my videos where I talked about potential trading for JJ McCarthy. I made a little short, more, you know, a couple weeks ago than now. More a couple weeks ago than now. But overall, when you think about where you guys are, and like you said, I mean, you sit him for one more year, you got 1 year to make a decision. Are you going to, you know, take on his rookie extension? Are you going to have him for another 5th year? Already, you only have 1 season of a sample take to go off of. I think personally, once again, the move that you guys are going to do is not pay Sam Darnold, but it's I'll tell you what, it's a bold decision to make. So, because let's say next year, I mean, granted, me being a Giants fan, I haven't seen 14 wins for my team in a long time. I don't know about you. I don't know the last time you've seen 14 games for you guys either. And
well, you got to remember, we won 13. We won 13 in 2022.
How'd that season end? Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah. You know,
no. You know,
for sure. Yeah, but you know what? You know, hey, I mean, if you want to be technical, I mean, who really lost that war? You know what I mean? Y'all paid Daniel Jones off of that game, and it bit you, didn't it?
Nah, I told you it's your fault. I told you it's your fault.
Yeah.
But overall, once again, like when looking at it, right? Because Kirk Cousins was signed and you had no other, play. You didn't have a play.
Yeah.
You have a
Yeah.
play this time, but what if you go out there and win 7-8 games next year? Very similar roster, switch quarterbacks. I feel like the expectations for JJ McCarthy is only going to continue to be set higher because guess what? We saw Sam Darnold last year put up 14 wins. Like like you got to go back and regress to you have a rookie quarterback. He's going to have his struggles. But I feel like after seeing what happened last season, like I said, it's going to be hard to sell the fans on both. And let me put this out there once again. I'm not against JJ McCarthy, right? But right now, if you were to trade him, you're not going to. If you were to trade him, in my opinion, this is the peak of his value. Right now is the peak because you don't know what he's going to go out there and do. I mean, I even said it and this is not a jab at Vikings fans, but we seen one preseason game for JJ McCarthy. That's it. But that one preseason game had y'all elated. And trust me, I'm not bashing y'all because shoot, I could use a quarterback having a performance like that. I mean, I really could.
Yeah.
Instead, I got Drew Lock putting up 45 on the Colts for no reason, and the rest is history, and we'll see what the draft turns out to. But overall, once again, like for JJ McCarthy's sake, he's a wild card right now. We don't know what he's gonna be. He could be really good, and that's what you guys are banking on. But there's a chance next year it might not be as crazy as it was this past season. That it's hard to do that in the NFL.
Can I say something?
Yeah, for sure.
But can I say something though? This is my thing, right? We won 14 games. And I said this to my community on my live after the season was over. It was officially off season. We won 14 games. That's cool. I like it. It's fun winning a lot of games in the season, especially for creators like me and yourself, where we get to, talk our talk after the game. You haven't had that in a long time, but you at least you've been creating long enough to where you've had your times where you've been able to at least talk a little bit of smack, right?
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, it's fun. But nothing is better than in the playoffs being able to do it. Like right now, I wish I was doing preview shows right now for the NFC Championship game. Like that's where this team should have been. And, ultimately, man, with the quarterback position, and I say that to say this, 14 games, it was fine. But I'm the type of guy where I'd rather be like shout out my boy Payo in the building, man. He's a Rams content creator. I'd rather be a 9-win team and be able to go in there. That's why next year, and I'm gonna be on top of our community with don't judge JJ McCarthy on 14. Don't hold his expectation of 14 wins. You got to win 14 games. I will hold the expectation of this team needs to make the playoffs, right? Because you got technically it would be KOC and Cam Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah will be on the last year of their contracts, which I think they're going to get extended anyways before draft and all that anyways, but still yet it's one of those things where it's like, hey, you've been building now, so we're not getting a new coach, we're not getting a new GM, so there's no kind of rebuild or new personnel. Hey, this is your 4th season now, so like time is flying, bruh. Like straight up, like I remember like yesterday when we signed them, like time is ticking now we gotta see. And to be honest with you, man, the 3 seasons that we've had with them like running the team, think about this: 13 wins the first year. The second year, 7 wins. Guess what? That was with no quarterback, bruh. That was with Justin Jefferson being out for 6-7 weeks as well. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I'm talking about that was a Kevin O'Connell just putting scrap pieces together, pulling up practice squad players and all type of stuff just to make it work. And we still was in the playoff hunt until like week 14. We still had an opportunity, right? So it's like one of those things where it's like, okay. And then this year, 14 wins with Sam Darnold. Like, that's crazy, bro. Like, I just think our team, I say that, I think our infrastructure is strong. So when you add a JJ McCarthy into that, bro, making the playoffs doesn't seem crazy, especially when you look at these rookie quarterbacks this year. I mean, Jaden Daniels, this Jaden Daniels. I wanted Jaden Daniels, right? Like, I was beating the table. I'm a Michigan fan. You can go back. It's on record. That's why I love doing content, because you could always go back and just check the tape. Like, I'm a JJ McCarthy fan because I'm a Michigan fan. I watch JJ McCarthy all the time. But I said if those two were on the board together, like if you're pick up and you got JJ McCarthy and Jaden Daniels, you better take Jaden Daniels because I just felt like his what he brings to the table, just his skill set is what the NFL. That's what usually those quarterbacks are the ones we're watching on Sundays in February. Like, think about it. Like these Jared Goffs and all that, bro. Like these pocket quarterbacks that can't move, bro. That's about to be dead weight. Like you're done, bro. Like straight up. You better get you somebody who can move. I'm telling you, bro. It's over with. For sure. It's over with, man. But hey, JJ McCarthy, man, he's not getting traded. It ain't happening. You guys have a better chance signing Sam Darnold. You feel me? Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold will be the new quarterback of the New York Football Giants.
Almost uttering the other name is just comedy at this point. Like I feel like you did that on purpose. Like I definitely feel like you did that on purpose.
I'm gonna keep it real. Like I think we're gonna keep Daniel Jones, to be honest with you.
So I've seen the avenue where it's so funny that after he got cut, there was a little market, to pick him up, and who's gonna pick up Daniel Jones. Let's look at it for what it is. If Daniel Jones goes out and walks and signs with somebody else, you guys get a compensatory pick for that. That's why there was a market. Who wouldn't pick him up for scraps, not even pay him that much, and then get a pick in return? I mean, I think that's a non-negotiable. It's funny because right now the ongoing thing on Twitter, everyone's like, I think if we don't feel like we're comfortable with the quarterbacks in this class, let's pick up Daniel Jones on a minimum, let him rock out one season and see what it is. But that's
who telling you guys to bring Daniel Jones back.
That's the troll. That's the troll right now. That's not happening. That's not serious.
Absolutely not.
It would be very funny if things turn out that way. Hey, shout out to Payo in the building. Shout out to Payo. Also shout out to my guy Jabari. He says, I hope Giants fans are happy with the Eagles or Commanders going to the Super Bowl. We should have drafted Darnold instead of Barkley. Now, Jabari did pop up on my live stream the other day. He explained his sentiment on drafting Darnold instead of Barkley, and we had a little talk about that. Overall.
I'm about to say that's weird. That's kind of weird.
As a prospect, like in turn, when you look at it with hindsight, obviously no, that shouldn't have been the pick.
Right.
But the philosophy, someone I brought it up that stream. Somebody was pretty much explaining to me. They were like, hey, let's say the Giants took Genty with the 3rd overall pick in the draft, right? They said, let's say the Giants took Genty. And they were pretty much saying how you feel with that, pick is how everyone looked at Saquon Barkley being taken at number 2. And when they told me that, I said, I can understand how some people found it a little crazy. Like saying that Genty was a Heisman candidate, going top 3 in the NFL draft is insane. And Saquon Barkley ended up being that. And I mean, Saquon Barkley, immense talent, obviously, and seeing him what he's doing.
I think that's a little, to me, like, obviously, I'm not a Giants fan, but I think that's a stretch, man. And the only reason why I say that is this, bro. This is why I say that, Jabari. Like, I just got to keep it G with you, man. You guys picked Barkley at number 2. He was the number 2 pick?
Number two overall pick.
So you picked Barkley, but then you had another opportunity with the number, what Daniel Jones, number 6 or 5?
6, but this is the next draft.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, you had an opportunity to get your quarterback, like Sam Darnold. No, like, you had your opportunity. You decided to go with Daniel Jones coming out of Duke. This man was boo-boo juice in college, too. Like, his tape in college was not that good. Like, he was an average, regular quarterback, bro. There was 1,000 quarterbacks that played just like Daniel Jones in that draft. Like straight up, and you want to know why you guys did that? Because why? It was the buddy system, the Mannings.
Yeah.
The Mannings, man. That's the only, let's just tell it for what it is, man. Like Daniel Jones was not supposed to be no top 10 draft pick, bro. Like for real, bro. He was not supposed to be no top 10 draft pick. But hey, the Giants made the move, man. Hey. But hey, we're outside, man. We'll make him look like a top. Yeah, let KOC get a hold of him, man. We got you.
Yeah. Hey, all I gotta say is we're 40 minutes into the stream, and I didn't think we would be talking about Saquon and this talk again. That's not what I'm here for, y'all. That's not what I'm here for.
Hey, but Saquon's generational, man. That was a great pick.
Man, this late in the season and seeing him still play, yeah, I'm a little sick.
Does it hurt? Are
And
you Giants fans sad about that?
listen, I mean, to be sad would be, you're a little sad, right? Because I mean, why wouldn't you be mad with seeing Saquon do what he's doing for the Eagles? But I think there's
Right.
also like a good medium where you realize, like, would he be doing this for us? He wouldn't. We saw
Yeah.
6 seasons of him over here, y'all. Like, and we never seen his first year, amazing. And I can truly say, I think that's one of the best seasons I've seen from a running back. His rookie season, this guy almost had 100 catches as a running back and also ran for over, I think, 1,200 yards. He was crazy.
Yeah.
But he's been hurt every year since that for us. He goes to the
True.
Eagles, plays
Yeah.
behind a better O-line. He hasn't missed a
Yeah.
game all year. The only game he missed,
Yeah.
they sat out against the Giants to not get injured in the last game. So, I mean, like, I'm not surprised that he's performing to this ability. And it was always that he was getting hurt for us. He always turned an ankle. He always had something
Yeah.
going on. And in Philly, everything clicked. And once again, like, he's in the perfect situation. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback. I have my opinion on Jalen Hurts, but he has an A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith on the outside. Jalen Hurts is a running
Mhm.
quarterback. And you also have the offensive line that's probably a top 5 offensive line in the league. Like, he has a
Yeah.
perfect scenario, and I think he's truly carrying the Eagles where they're at today. So, but best
Yeah.
believe, I mean, I haven't made this known to my community, but I'm a Jaden Daniels fan right now, and they're definitely going to be the ones to take down the Eagles next week. I'm throwing on my JD5, hat. Me and Real Robinson, we clicking on that joint, man.
Shout out Rio, man.
Shout out to Rio, because once again, I collab with both of y'all, and y'all teams both take off. When is it my turn? I'm confused. I'm wondering when
shout
my
out
turn.
Rio, man. That's my
When is
boy.
my turn? But yeah, Rio's definitely clicking up. And shout
No,
out to
I'm
the
happy. I'm happy for Rio, man. Rio's been like super active too lately. He's always been active, but like he's extra active now, man. I think the other day he was live for like 12 hours, bro. He started streaming. He started streaming for the first playoff game, watched the whole game, waited 2 more hours, streamed through that, and then his game kicked off, streamed through all of that. And then after they beat the Lions, he streamed for another 3-4 hours. I mean, he was just going in, man. So shout out to him, man. Dedication, man. I'm happy for him for sure.
100%. Same here, bro. They're one game away from the Super Bowl. Like,
That's
once
crazy.
again, I didn't expect your team to take off the way they did, but the Commanders too, rookie quarterback, no way I thought they were going to be able
I don't
to
think anybody expected the Commanders to be right here right now, man. But hey, it just proves, I like it because it proves, I think, slowly but surely, even with the Bo Nix, right? Like, getting the Broncos to the playoffs too as well. Although they got manhandled, it still proves like we can put to rest all of that. The rookie quarterback has to sit for 2 years and this, that, and the third. It's like, no, bro, if there's a real prospect out there that can play football, you can go draft him and plug him in right away. You know what I mean? You got all off season, get him ready. If he's talented, he's talented. Like, he's going to be able to play regardless, man. Now there is certain quarterbacks that do need to develop. You need to be able to judge that, be able to pick that out and say, okay, this is a guy that he's good in college, but this is the type of quarterback that might need a year or two to sit. But you also got to be able to, identify the ones that can go right away. And JD5 is one. I think Caleb Williams is one too. He just, the team and situation. I mean, these guys are coming out now, man. You got to think, man, these guys are training in elementary school nowadays, man. These kids, by the time we see them enter the draft, bro, they done been playing football since 4th grade, bro, getting real deal training, man, from NFL players, all type of stuff. Like, because they moved to certain cities, their parents put them in the right positions to get to where they're at for the most part. So we got to stop with all that. You got to sit your rookie for 3 years before they can touch the football, and stop it.
No, 100%. And I think you brought it up earlier with Jordan Love, right? Like, Jordan Love, who was he sitting behind? Aaron Rodgers. What happened prior?
Yeah.
Why was Aaron Rodgers sitting? Who was he sitting behind? Brett Favre. They got to be a situation where they're sitting behind a good, like, someone tried to convince me, like, if we draft a quarterback, right, and we sign Jameis Winston, let him sit behind Jameis Winston. Yeah, it might be a game or two, but that's not a situation that you sit him all year behind a Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
Like, the quarterback that you have in the room matters. And I'm not sitting my rookie quarterback behind a Jameis Winston. I'm telling you right now. At least not all season. Like, what am I gonna watch? What am I gonna learn? Shout out to Joe 2 times in the chat. He said we need to hire Carson Shane as a GM and he had more foresight than his dad. If you don't know who Carson Shane is, there's a clip going around, and it went around during the Hard Knocks season where they said pretty much Carson Shane's like, why don't you trade up and try to draft Jaden Daniels? Like, you see the little kid telling Joe Shane what to do, and he's like, hey, we'll try. And obviously, the rest is history. Jaden Daniels is a commander, and he's winning games, and he looks poised, man. That's a difference that I see when you compare him to even like a Caleb Williams. I mean, like, I feel like Caleb Williams kind of look to scramble too often and kind of make a play that's really off script, where Jaden Daniels, he's getting blitzed and he's letting it go quick. He knows where he wants to go with the ball, and coming from a team that didn't have good quarterback play, and specifically a Daniel Jones that was very gun shy, seeing what Jaden Daniels is doing is different, man. It's different. And I hope he continues to have that success. I hope it's not like a 1-year wonder type thing, because we know the Commanders had, a 1 year with RG3, but two very different quarterbacks. And overall,
he's different.
His deep ball is insane as well. Like, his
immaculate,
deep ball is
diabolical, man.
Insane. We got a question in the chat, man. Juke, what would you like the Giants to do if draft a quarterback? Which quarterback? Now, to answer the question, I don't know if I answered it enough. Are we signing Sam Darnold? We are not.
He wants Sam Darnold there. He wants Sam
Darnold is not joining the New York Giants. He's not coming back to the Big Apple. And if he is
coming back to the Big Apple,
it's going to be back with his former team. It's definitely not going to be with the New York Giants. I think when you think about where we are as a franchise, I mean, this team won 3 games. Can you improve a little bit with the Sam Darnold? Yeah. But I'd rather take a swing at a guy that I think we saw Sam Darnold at the peak of his powers. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not expecting that production with the Giants. I don't think Brian Daboll is a Kevin O'Connell, and Brian Daboll was supposed to be the guy that made Josh Allen who he is. That was his calling card. That's what made him, sign as a New York Giants head coach. I don't know if I expressed this sentiment to you, Vocal, but the fact that he's back is insane. I thought this guy was a dead man walking for multiple weeks, because we can go out and have the worst record in franchise history in our 100th season, once again breaking records that we shouldn't be breaking, and we can still have job security and come back next year. That type of thing that we're preaching right now is not what I'm not on that. I'm really not.
Well, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I feel like that. Because he never had the chance to pick his quarterback. I think they're going to give him a chance to pick his quarterback. And then let him die by that. You know what I mean? If he loses his job, it's by that. Because he didn't handpick Daniel Jones. He was given Daniel Jones. And he had to try to make it work. And he probably expressed to them like, bro, I done tried for how many years has he been? You cut 3, right? Because he got signed the same time.
He got signed with Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, Kevin O'Connell. So like 3 seasons, he's like, man, I done tried. The first year was good, but like it's over with. Like, I cannot do this with Daniel Jones. Y'all got to let me pick a quarterback, man. So
this is the
and Sam Darnold right there. Sam Darnold right there.
Stop it. This is the flip to that, right? This is the flip to that. John Mara, historically, his dad was was the owner for the Giants, and we know the rest is history. John Mara expressed his sentiment that the Giants need to win next season. He expressed that he's expecting results next year. And this is the flip to that, where, let's say they deserve, first of all, winning 3 games. I don't care what it is. You don't deserve nothing. You don't deserve anything from this franchise. Right. But overall, let's say, give him the chance to get his quarterback. John Mara wants to win games next year. What happens if we don't win games next year? Guess what? He's out the door. Guess what? Your rookie quarterback has to go settle with another head coach. I'm not saying Daniel Jones would have been different, but guess what Daniel Jones had to deal with? 1 year Pat Shurmur, fired Pat Shurmur, brought in Joe Judge. The cycle continues. The ongoing, repeat of disaster continues for the Giants, and I just don't think the formula is there, man. Like, the writing's on the wall. I don't think there's a world where Brian Daboll's the coach past next year, and it sounds negative, but the truth is this guy shouldn't have been back here. I mean, I think we should have been in contention with signing Brian Flores, Aaron Glenn, or even a Ben Johnson. I mean, Ben Johnson just signed with the Bears, but which I got to hear your thoughts on that. I mean, he's already in the division, but overall, once again, I just think personally what the Giants should do is go out and draft their quarterback. Hopefully, a Shedeur Sanders drops to number 3. I feel like that's the likely thing to happen.
Is that the quarterback you want?
So I've been on note for either quarterback. I think Cam Ward is the number 1 prospect for a reason. Because his arm talent is there, right? I think he has to
Mhm.
clean up his footwork a bit. I think he does have to work some things out of his game because, like any college quarterback, I mean, no one's a perfect prospect, and there's some things that they kind of need to break out of their game. A lot of it is like
Mhm.
tendencies of taking shots when it's not really needed. Cam Ward is always looking for the big play, and he's gonna roll out, throw across his body, and throw it 40 yards down the field. That's what Cam Ward can do. I think his arm talent is definitely better than Shador, but Shador, I think he has enough in the tank to, definitely let it fly. I think Shador holds onto the ball a little too long, and
Yep.
it kind of bit him in the butt,
That's
especially
gonna
with
that's gonna hurt him.
playing in the New York Giants. You can't hold the ball for too long. Our offensive line,
Playing
and
anywhere in the NFL, holding the ball like he holds the ball. That's
100%,
my biggest concern with Shador Sanders is he holds the ball way too much.
100%.
Way
But
too much.
that's why you hope, a quarterback coach, a head coach, the quarterback guys in this league can kind of change that out of them. I would be on board to bring in Shador Sanders. Now, once again,
I'm gonna tell you my favorite quarterback real quick coming in this draft.
all right, is it let me ask you a question. Is it one of the
Try to
two or is
guess.
it somebody out?
Nope, it's none of them. It's none
It's
of them. And,
Jackson
and and
Dart.
the only reason
It's
why I
Jackson.
haven't talked about quarterbacks is because we're good. So and I'm using this offseason to take a breath of fresh air and say, God damn it, I ain't gotta mention not one damn quarterback. This next 6 months, I ain't gotta mention a quarterback unless I'm talking about Sam Darnold, you feel me, or JJ McCarthy starting for the Minnesota Vikings. But yeah, go ahead, name it. What'd you say? I think I heard you say it.
Jackson Dart.
Yeah, Jackson Dart. That's my favorite quarterback coming in this draft. Yep.
The funny ties to Jackson Dart is he was actually coached under Joe Judge, who happened to be a Giants coach a couple of years ago. Joe Judge is on staff,
Yep.
so that's a funny little joke. I've seen those experiments. I've seen those mock drafts, and honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I'm on board for that too. I just want the Giants to take a swing, try to get your quarterback, try to get a new guy in here. I'm watching the game with the Lions and the Commanders, and I'm saying to myself, I'm just like, man, the Giants need a quarterback so bad because once again, I'll flip it back to you guys. And I'm not saying this as a jab. Y'all saw one preseason game of JJ McCarthy and are extremely, extremely excited because it gives you a sense of, oh my gosh, this rookie quarterback can come in and change things with this team. We don't have that. And we haven't had that in a long time. A lot of people were like, dang, man, another year of Daniel Jones. Here's year 4, 5, 6. We haven't had that in a long time. And I do think also we were a little pampered. And I know we talked about it with Eli Manning week 1 when we were talking about it. But Eli Manning, he was our quarterback for 15 years, bro. Like, we literally haven't had the opportunity to kind of draft a guy and see can he be our franchise
Jackson
quarterback.
Dart.
And
Jackson Dart. You got to go Ole Miss again.
Ole Miss, the ties are there. The ties are there. And like I said, Jackson Dart in the second round and getting a premier. And I say this, if it's Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, and I don't think it will be Abdul because we just traded for Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau, even though he's not performing. I don't think they kind of would spend it on, but I think Abdul Carter is like the next guy at the edge position. That guy's insane. Yeah. But Travis Hunter too, he's an immense talent, and the Giants are lacking talent. There's some people, and I don't know if anyone's in the chat, let me know. Some people are like, the Giants should not draft Travis Hunter. If you want a cornerback, go draft Will Johnson from Michigan. You're a Michigan fan. If you want a receiver, there's a better receiver in this draft. We're sitting here a couple, 3 months away from the NFL draft, and we don't even know Travis Hunter what position he's going to play. Like, what player have you seen this type of like talk about happen? Like, where we don't know what position he's going to play in the NFL. He's talented on both sides of the ball.
I think he's going to play both. I think he's going to play both.
If it's me, I'm putting him at corner and he's playing 15 snaps at the receiver position. That's when I'm.
Yeah, like I think he's gonna be both, but I think he's gonna be. I think it's not gonna be like college where it's every series he's in there. But I think a team is gonna be smart enough going into the process. They're gonna look at it and say, well, damn, hey, maybe he gets 10 snaps a game on defense and, a 30 on offense. And then next game, it might be vice versa. Next game, it might be, oh, well, we got one of our DBs are down. One of our DBs got hurt. All right, Hunter, go in there. You're going to run DB this game. He's so flexible. That's what makes him so great, right? That's what makes him so great is he understands both positions really good at a high level, not just you're athletic, you know how to catch a football, we're going to put you at cornerback. No, he actually understands the cornerback position and the wide receiver, but like really could play them both at a high level. I think that's what makes him so special. I think that's why teams are going to pay a lot for him, even teams that may move up. But honestly, man, I think he's going to the Jaguars, to be honest with you, bro. It's over.
Really? You think he makes it
Yeah, he
past
going
the
to the Jaguars.
Giants? You think he makes it past the Giants?
He going to the Jaguars, man. I'm gonna tell you why. There's gonna be a lot of dictation going on. You feel me? And your boy Dion done made it very clear. All right. And it's crazy how everything's just coming full circle for you guys, man. Like Eli Manning, not wanting to go to the Chargers. There's always some drama there. You know what I mean? Just got to sprinkle a little bit of drama there. I'm gonna tell you right now, Deion Sanders is not letting his boys, and I call Travis Hunter one of his boys. He ain't letting them just go anywhere, bro. I'm telling you, he's gonna make sure that they go where they either want to go or where he feels is the right fit for them. You know what I mean? He's trying to change the game in a way, although this has been happening, but now that it's Dion doing it, and we just got to call a spade a spade. Now that it's Dion doing it and he's polarizing, they're going to make a big deal out of it. See, it was no issue when Eli Manning's father was behind the scenes saying, hey, my son's not playing for your team, so y'all better trade him or something. But since it's Dion, it's going to be blasted everywhere. Oh, Dion's trying to change the game and he's trying to, bend the rules. But I'm telling you, he ain't letting it go down like that. And that's just what it is, bro. I don't think he's going to let him go to New York, bro. I'm sorry. Y'all don't got a quarterback. Imagine Travis Hunter getting drafted to y'all to be a wide receiver and who going to throw him the ball?
Yeah. I think
Sam Darnold. I mean, unless y'all get Sam Darnold, you feel me? You get Sam Darnold.
I will say, and I had to tweet, man. I don't know if it got taken down. A couple years ago, 2018, I believe, Dion was out there saying, if I'm a quarterback, I'm not going to Cleveland. He specifically posted it. I don't know where that tweet's at, man. I got to find it. But
bro, he's not letting his son go to Cleveland, bro.
Cleveland's at 2. I think there's a chance, like you said, there's a chance that Cleveland doesn't take him. It's just when you think about where Cleveland is and their quarterback, Mark, bro, they're oh my gosh. First, they're in cap hell. That's 1. And 2, Deshaun Watson, he tore his Achilles again.
But let me say this about Cleveland. I'll say this about Cleveland. Y'all in Cleveland are in two different parts of teams. Like y'all have 2 different teams right now. Right?
Yeah. 100%.
Cleveland, they get Chubbs back. They got Myles Garrett, which he could possibly be on his way out too, depending on how this offseason goes, because he can make a decision to say, you know what, I'm sick of it too. Trade me, or a team might make him a great offer. But if not, let's just say their team stays intact. They're built right now to where in the draft at number 2, they need to get one of the top either like wide receivers, whether I think they would actually take a shot on McMillan from Arizona, the wide receiver.
Yep.
I think they're going to take a shot on a player like that. And in free agency, they're going to get the quarterback. That's why I do believe Cleveland's a really good landing spot for Sam Darnold. I think they're going to pursue, Sam Darnold, at least make him an offer. I think they're going to make him an offer for sure, because I think they're more in a position where they have Deshaun Watson, although that's been a disaster. They have so much money tied up into the quarterback position. I don't even know if they want to go get a rookie and then sit there and try to rebuild this whole thing. And yes, I said earlier, rookies can come in and play right away, but you're still taking that chance. And I don't know if the Browns are in that position right now where they want to do that. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I just don't see them taking a quarterback, bro. I see them getting a quarterback in free agency.
Yeah, man.
Like, for real. I don't know.
I will say I'm not a GM, right? I'm not a GM, but I will say sometimes I feel like the cap, they're right now. I'm looking at it right now. That's why I was trying to pull it up. They're negative 26 million in cap space, which is second worst. I think the Saints are the worst. They've been negative for a very long time.
They've been negative for a long time, man.
Yeah, a really long time. But negative 26 million cap. You're telling me they're gonna sign Sam Darnold? I'm just saying what money, but sometimes GMs
think about it,
make it all work, man. Like they always find a way to make it work, and I believe sometimes the cap space ain't real, man. It really isn't.
The cap's a myth, man. The Saints were just like that last year, and then all of a sudden Derek Carr signs a, you know what I mean? They were in the same type of deal, worse than the Browns, and then all of a sudden Derek Carr, here comes Derek Carr, $40 million per year. Oh, yeah. We're moving money around.
100%. Yeah. Hey, shout out Skull Mafia subbing up, man. I appreciate that. We got Kirko going to Cleveland. Aaron Rodgers going to the Giants.
That's
Let's
true
stop this
too.
talk, man. Let's stop this talk.
Hey,
Um,
that's true too, man. You got Kirk Cousins, man. Kirk Cousins might go to the Giants too, man. You know, y'all can get him for the low ski now. Hey, look, man. You know the Falcons. Kirk Cousins is going to be this year's Daniel Jones, Russell Wilson. Where hey, another team is paying his salary. Go ahead and scoop him. You know, a team that just needs to get through for a year, just a bridge where you can still be. You know, I think that's how a lot of teams think too. Is hey, we're going into this. We get to pay Kirk Cousins $10 million. We get, you know, because another team's taking care of his salary. We get a veteran quarterback that we know can stat the patch. He can get the stats and shit, which you're not going to win with him, but still, he can at least look good for you. And you still have an opportunity to possibly make playoffs. I mean, why not take the chance on it? You know what I mean? If I was a Giants fan, I don't think I would actually be opposed to getting a guy like Kirk Cousins for that amount of money you would have to spend for him. You would be opposed to that?
I think, like you said, bringing in like a Russell Wilson type deal. I seen Russell Wilson. I mean, is there a world where I want Kirk Cousins over Russell Wilson? I feel like they're kind of both on the same spectrum where, I mean, you can't expect too much out of them. I'm going to be honest. Like, bro, the Steelers had a winning record. Russell Wilson completely tanks it. They lost like this last
Justin Fields, bro. I'm going to say Justin Fields is a free agent too.
Oh, and that's that. If I'm signing a free agent, I'm bringing in Justin Fields. One, he's not going to cost too much. I feel like the upside is there. Shoot, if he's Sam Darnold next year, I'll take it. And guess what? Justin Fields can run.
Bro.
You just said it. We need a mobile quarterback. Justin Fields can run. I would definitely try
bro,
that.
Justin Fields, and then draft Hunter. Like, let's just say, you know, the shit I spewed earlier about him not going to New York. I mean, obviously that could be a bunch of BS, right? So, like, hey, you get Travis Hunter, and then you sign Justin Fields. I mean, hey, look, man, you're getting younger. Your team looking like, hey, you're getting speed. I would feel good as a Giants fan. I ain't gonna lie.
And I think once again, I mean, the Giants only had 3 wins this year, but something that goes under mind is Malik Neighbors is our first wide receiver one in a whole lot of years, man. We haven't had one since Odell walked out the door. Hopefully we can kind of utilize him a lot more than we did with Odell, but who knows? You bring a Travis Hunter in here once. That's why, man, I would be so excited to have Travis Hunter.
You want Travis Hunter? Like, is that your player?
So I'm not taking Travis Hunter over the quarterback, right? Like, if the quarterback's there, I'm taking the
quarterback.
So
you're taking Shador over Travis?
Yeah, I think when you think about our needs and what, once again, I just talked about taking a swing. I mean, if he's sitting there at 3, we got to take him. But both quarterbacks are off the board. It's a no-brainer. Take Travis. Don't trade back. Take Travis. See if you can get a Jackson Dart, or I'm not the highest on him, but Jalen Milroe is going to be talked about, and who knows? Can Jalen Milroe be the Jalen Hurts of this class? You know, Jalen Hurts wasn't that high. I don't see it either. Jalen Milroe, he needs another year in college, but he's coming out, so we'll see.
You better off going Jackson Dart. Yeah, you better off going Jackson Dart.
I got a Jackson Dart video loading soon because I'm
gonna tell you, bro, Jackson Dart. You wanna know why I like Jackson Dart so much, bro? Like, he really got that dog in him. I'm gonna tell you right now, like, let's just say the Vikings didn't make their move, right? Let's just say the Vikings didn't make their move last year. I would be pounding the table right now for Jackson Dart this whole off. That would have been my guy that I was piggyback riding, dog, this whole offseason up until April, bro. I'm telling you right now. Like, he reminds me a lot of JJ McCarthy. I'm gonna keep it honest with you, bro. He a dog, bro. Like, he really is, bro. His deep ball, like, he got some things he can work on. That's all quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Like, all quarterbacks got things they can work on, man. Shit. It is what it is. But I'm gonna tell you, Jackson Dart gonna be that dude, bro, for somebody. Somebody gonna take that chance on him. He gonna be nice. I'm gonna be real with you.
Yeah, man. Dang.
You ain't no Jackson Dart fan. My boy don't like Jackson Dart. I say Jackson Dart, man. He back up in the chair, boy.
I'm tired. I'm going to be honest, man. I want the top guy in the draft. I really do. Yeah. Like, and there's a chance. There's a chance that a Jackson Dart can come in and really change things, right? And once again, there's a whole offseason to unwrap. I'm going to look into Jackson Dart a lot more. That bowl game is what got people through the roof about him because it was a nationally televised game. And, you know, he played well. People have been talking about Jackson Dart. I had people in my videos mid-season talking about the Giants need to take Jackson Dart in the draft and we're going to be set. And I'm like, who is Jackson Dart? Like, we're talking about Cam Ward and Shador. Do you see us? We have the number one overall pick. But yeah, we definitely gonna be, you know, looking into him. And
he gonna move up the board too as the pro day comes too, like pro days and combine, bro. He got an arm, bro.
I told people this, and once again, we talked about Jalen Milroe. You're not too high on Jalen Milroe. the combine has turned into so much of a track, running event.
Yeah.
Jalen Milroe is about to have that Anthony Richardson ascent, man. He really is.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna run the 40. He's gonna be
Yep.
the fastest quarterback at the 40. He's gonna throw the ball super far, and we already know his stock is gonna drive up, and I think it's gonna lead everybody to being. They're talking about only 2 quarterbacks in the first round. You can see it past that. The only thing I will not stand for is if the Giants sit there and take Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers should not be the pick, but I talked about it all season.
Oh yeah,
man.
he is in the draft.
He is. I don't know if I expressed the sentiment in y'all to you guys. Sometimes people talk about the Giants not taking, a black quarterback. They're probably going to take the Caucasian quarterback.
Oh, okay.
People talk about that. The top 2 quarterbacks happen to be, black quarterbacks. Yeah. I hope we don't just do that for the sake of it. But, man, I got Scope Mafia letting me know. Sucks. I got to play J-Day twice a year. The fact that we're saying J-Day, my gosh. Where have we come to? It's insane. But once again, shout out to Jay and Daniels, man.
He's salty. He's salty about J-Day, man.
I am, man. I am. Trust me.
No, I feel you though, man. Like that dude, man, he gonna be kicking y'all ass for a long time, man. That's gonna be crazy. That sucks having to see that. That's like us watching. Like, just imagine I can just imagine if the Bears were headed to the NFC Championship game right now, and Caleb Williams has been balling out as a Vikings fans, bro. We'd be sitting back like, son of a b. We got to watch this, man. We got to play this guy for the next 10 years, but no, that's all good.
Listen, man, I don't know if you told me that you deal with audio or used to be an audio engineer or something.
I still am. Yeah, I'm still am. Yeah.
Dope to hear. I say that to say, I don't know if you've been put on this wave yet, as I share my screen real quick. There's this thing called, perfect timing.
Yeah.
Go ahead and start blasting this. Go ahead and start listening to it because I'm busting this down all year next year. Shedeur Sanders, perfect timing. This is what I need next year, y'all. If you haven't heard Perfect Timing by Shedeur, have you heard it?
Yeah, no, I've heard it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've heard it.
Sure. Just making sure. That's the Kool-Aid I'm on next year.
Yeah, man. you got Jello with the that I've been around the corner. Whoa, and then you got the AP on my wrist. Yeah, I see him, man. Hey, look, man.
That's why the Lions lost, though. That's why the Lions lost.
I'm scared. Like, to be honest with you, like, I love everything about Colorado. I love everything that they did there. I'm with all the drama. I love all of it, because I think a lot of people just be hating, to be honest with you. They just hate it. So, like, he took a team that was 1-11 and, they're winning games, bro. People just hate it for some reason, just because they're getting attention and stuff. And that's fine. I like all of it. But when I think now that we're to the point where, okay, now we got to separate the gang, right? Shedeur is going to go here. Travis is going to go there. A couple other players going to go to these different teams. What are they going to be able to do now? And now when I think about Shedeur Sanders, like, even if we didn't have our quarterback situation under control right now, I don't think I'd be mentioning Shedeur Sanders, bro. I'm going to just keep it honest with you. Like, I just don't. Can he throw the ball? Yes. He's super slow, bro. You ain't noticed that? Like, he moves super slow, bro. Like, the way he runs and everything, it's just something about it where I'm like, bro, you got to get some pep in your step when you get to this next level. Because I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to be eating this dude. You think he was getting sacked a lot in college. He was the most sacked quarterback in college, bro.
I'm aware. Hey, listen, that's what we need as a quarterback. He faced the tribulations already. Andrew Thomas, give me a healthy Andrew Thomas. I guarantee our O-line should be better. And that's dragging a little bit. I mean, Andrew Thomas has been hurt every now and then, but that's like saying you guys losing Christian Darrisaw. Let's see what your quarterback looks like, man. You need your guy to be healthy too. So overall, once again, hopefully he continues to, progress. And once again, if it's me, I think this is going to end up being the pick, Shedeur Sanders. I know Zoe is over here saying we're not getting Sanders. Like I said.
Zoe said y'all ain't getting y'all getting Ewers. Scoliosis said the Giants are definitely drafting you. They definitely drafting the white boy. Already know that's coming.
It screams the pick, man. It really does. Like, it literally screams the pick.
And if your boy from Georgia was coming in the draft, he was going to be our quarterback. What was his name? What's his name?
Carson Beck. Carson
Beck. Yeah, that was your boy.
This guy was mocked like top 3, but that's why, the mocks really don't matter early season. Like the way too early mock drafts, all that stuff is done, man, because everything ends up feeding itself out. Everything ends up weeding itself out. And once again, man, like, I think Shedeur Sanders is in the right class for him because, well, if he's in last year's class, he's number 5, number 5. maybe he's probably not in front of JJ. He's probably behind them too. So, yeah, man, the Giants always miss out, man. That's just a part I'm saying. And I'm like, let's get the Cam Ward.
I'll say this, man. I'm gonna
Cam
follow
Ward
you all year.
dunk, man.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna follow. You know, I follow you regardless, man, and I be tapped in, man. I'm gonna go down this journey with you, man. You wanna know why? Because I can relate. Because I feel like the Vikings, we were in this boat last year. We were sick of the, quarterback talk and move off of Kirk and who we gonna draft. And you had the fan base that wanted Drake May. You had part of the fan base wanted. I'm gonna tell you though, last year's quarterback draft class was immaculate. You hear me? Like immaculate, especially after now when you actually see it play out. Because even Caleb Williams, like, although he didn't have the greatest season, man, first of all, quarterbacks go to Chicago to die anyways. So, like, it ain't even his fault. Trust me. Caleb Williams is going to be good whenever his contract is up and the Bears are able to trade him, or he's just going to get annoyed and he's going to demand a trade because he has that type of personality where he will say something. He's like that. He's going to say something. You know what I mean? He's very, very girl-like in a way sometimes where he's going to express his feelings. And that's not a bad thing. That's not female-ish to express your feelings, but how he goes about it, he's going to wind up posting or, telling, he's going to go about it in a very feminine way, in my opinion, and it's going to blow up. Watch, it's coming. Man, because the Bears, you just going to go there and die.
So you're not on board with painting nails? That's what I'm getting from this whole conversation.
I don't mind. Listen, I don't mind painting nails and stuff, bro. Listen, like, I wouldn't do it, right? I wouldn't do it as a man. I have daughters and stuff too. Like, they paint their nails. Like, what would my daughters think seeing their dad with their nails painted? You know what I mean? But I will say this, like, I've been around crews. Like, I used to when I did music, like, I did shows with these kids, not kids, because we were all around the same age, but we're 21, 22, and that's just their vibes. You know what I mean? Like, they regular dudes, but they paint one of their nails black and put a logo on it or something. Like, I ain't got no problem with it. Like, I'm comfortable with who I am. So, like, me seeing somebody else do it, it's almost like I might talk about it and criticize it just in a news way or playing. But, like, does it really bother me that much? Would I say, oh, no, he can't be my quarterback because he painted? Skull Mafia tell you, I was pulling for bro to be our quarterback if we can get him. I don't care if he paints his net. I ain't got nothing to do with me. What can you do on Sunday? Like, if Caleb Williams was a Viking, bro, we'd be talking right now. You hear me?
Yeah. Nah, I definitely understand
talking
that.
right now.
I just had to throw the lob to you, man. I was gonna see if you were gonna dunk it or
no, I wasn't gonna slam
like,
dunk him. I wasn't gonna slam them. I ain't got no problem with it. I really don't.
I just had to make sure, man.
I wouldn't do it, but it is what it is.
6 years in Kurt Hell, now I'm in JJ heaven. This is the stuff I'm talking about, man. Like, one preseason game.
We believe, bro. We believe.
The optimism's there. And guess what? In New York right now, we don't got too much optimism. That's what happens when you have a rookie quarterback on your team. That's what we need.
But let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, though, Juke, too, now. Like, this is the thing with JJ, too, is I know you keep saying, one preseason game. I get that. But you got to also remember that our community is blessed. This isn't tooting my own horn, but me being a Michigan fan, like, I've been putting my community on JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
And we also have a couple guys in our community too. Like, I'm not taking all the credit. We got a guy that's big in our community named Thor, who he actually does this for a living, like picks, draft and does all the mocks throughout the whole season. And he's really big on it. And he was a JJ McCarthy fan and was calling for JJ McCarthy. He's also a Vikings fan too, but he was calling for JJ McCarthy and put out a bunch of numbers and stuff. And then you got Zoe, who's in the chat right now. Hey, look, man, he's a Michigan fan with me. We have a lot of our creators on our side that regardless, we've been Michigan fans and we knew about JJ McCarthy. You got to think about this with JJ is JJ has won every big game at every level that he's played football. Now, that's not a coincidence, bruh. That's what you call somebody that's just a winner. People will say, oh, he didn't win because of him last year in college. People forget that game against Alabama, bro. He threw 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns, no pickies. You feel me? Like, listen, in high school, state championships, threw over 4,000 yards in high school. Quit acting like this man can't throw the football. That's what bothers me. Is people's really acting like he didn't get a full ride scholarship to one of the biggest colleges in the world to be the starting quarterback, and you're going to tell me that you don't think this guy could throw a football, man? Stop it, man. JJ McCarthy is like that, bro. They just, as Michigan fan, man, we ran the, but we had our way to play our game, man. People couldn't stop it. So why change it? Why? Just to prove that JJ is a good quarterback? Harbaugh told you he's the best quarterback. He told you that. You know what I mean? You ain't got to believe him.
That's where I gotta say, what else is Harbaugh gonna say? Come on, man. Let's be honest.
Hey,
what
man.
else is Harbaugh gonna say? And I don't even say this to say that I'm not on the JJ.
You're telling the truth, Juke.
I'm not saying I believe you. I expressed this sentiment to you before, man.
Yeah.
I personally do not watch too much college football. I don't.
You should though. You should start though.
I don't have a team, so it's kind of hard for me. Like I feel like you have
be a Michigan fan. We'll welcome you.
Hey,
you want to get lit? Hey, if you want to be lit, bro, be a Michigan fan, bro. We just got Bryce Underwood. It's going down. Trust me, bro.
I'm a free agent, so I definitely think you need like a team to kind of consistently watch the team year in and year out. This year was the most I've seen is because Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. I mean, that whole thing was taking over the nation.
Yeah,
it was taking over the nation. But overall, like prime example, and I'll tell you this because I'm on the younger end, right? Like I'm part of the younger generation. When my team was going to draft a quarterback, do you think I was saying Daniel Jones? I was not. You know how I was saying? I was saying Dwayne Harris. R.I.P. Dwayne Harris. It was Dwayne Harris, right? That was his name? Ohio State.
You thought Dwayne Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins. Yeah, my bad. R.I.P.
But Dwayne Haskins,
sure. I was huge on Dwayne Haskins. You know why? Because I saw him at Ohio State playing big games, throwing big touchdowns, making all the throws that I wanted to see. And I was so hell-bent that Dwayne Haskins is going to be the guy. You know what I saw? Him going to Washington, and every scenario is not the same, right? Every situation is not the best for each quarterback. But that in itself told me, yeah, man, sometimes, and this has nothing to do with JJ McCarthy. It's just the truth is, I saw him play all the big games and make all the throws. And in the NFL, man, he was not it. He wasn't. As a starter at that time, he wasn't it. And guess what? He ended up not being a starter anywhere else. So picking a quarterback is the hardest thing to do in sports. It really is. Because the guys can look like they make throws. Quinn Ewers, I'm not saying he was the next guy, but he was supposed to be the number one pick in this class. And look what a couple games did to him. Like, so many things that happen. So I can understand the optimism, but I also stand back on like, man, you got to see him really step it up and really put it on the NFL because the NFL is a different game, man. It really is. I've seen too many quarterbacks. Yeah, I've seen too many quarterbacks crash and burn in the league that were balling in college. And that was part of it. I'm going off on a tangent a little bit. JT Barrett for Ohio State, right? You're a Michigan fan, but you know about JT Barrett. I look at people like him and I'm like, man, like, why can't he get an opportunity in the league?
Yeah.
Like, why is he not? He won big games for
you had Pryor, which he wound up turning into a wide receiver. So he had a pretty decent NFL career switching positions. But I'm going to tell you right now, Juke, what's different, right? And this isn't just because he's on my team, but like me knowing JJ McCarthy, I'm going to tell you what separates him, right? And Bo Nix possesses this. I'm going to keep it real. Bo Nix possesses this. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't big on Bo Nix. You know what I mean? Like Bo Nix, you could ask anybody in my community. I was like, man, I wouldn't touch Bo Nix with a 10-foot pole because I felt like he was just a product of the system. You know what I mean? Like every quarterback that goes to Oregon looks good, right? Yeah. Like this year now, I ain't hear you mention I ain't hear you mention him not one time. You know what I mean? And he had a hell of a season. Took his team all the way there, damn near right there. So like damn near undefeated. What, they lost one game?
Yeah, they lost one game. But
nobody mentioning him.
You know who they played?
Ohio State, right?
Ohio State,
right?
What does Ohio State have?
But they smacked Ohio State the first time. During the season, they smacked them.
Was it a close game, no?
I thought they smacked them the first game. Did it come down to the last thing, the first game?
I think it was pretty close. Let me see.
Okay. Well, still, they beat them, right? So they beat them. Ohio State got their get back. Ohio State got their get back, man.
So
but I say that to say.
The first game, they won 32-31. 32-31.
Okay, yeah. All right. Well, they still beat them, so it don't matter. my thing is this. My thing is this with JJ McCarthy. It's the mentality, the discipline. And you can see it in certain quarterbacks. That's what scares me with Shedeur Sanders. Listen, college, rollie on my wrist, bust down AP. all that shit, doing all that shit is fun as hell. I'm a fan of it. I really am, bro. I wish he could stay in college for 10 more years and keep doing the same shit. Like him and Hunter, I wish they could. But the truth is, when you get up to this next level, bro, you gonna get humbled real quick. And that little cockiness that you got, I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna be so focused on trying to make that big play so that you can flex your watch till you're gonna forget about what really got you here, the little things, the fundamentals. And a lot of quarterbacks fall victim to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not saying that all quarterbacks do, but like one thing about JJ McCarthy is he takes preparation serious. He's not flashy. He's all about the game and winning. And you can see that. And part of me knowing that is because obviously, like again, I watched him at Michigan. I'm a Michigan fan, so it's obvious. He just happened to get drafted by my favorite NFL team too. Match made in heaven. I couldn't ask for anything better other than JD5 shit. But like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things, man, where because JD5's like that. Humble dude is about the game, bro. Like he's about the game. He don't care about all that extra stuff, bro. There's no extras at all. You know, it's cool in college. Do your thing. Y'all are kids. We get it. But once you get into the NFL, man, can you turn that switch off? One thing I like about JJ McCarthy is he's never had it. He's never been like that. So he ain't going to start now. And you can tell he's all about business and learning and getting better. And watch, bro. I'm telling you, he going to be, even if he isn't great, you know what I'm saying? He's going to be a starter in this league. He'll be one of those quarterbacks where even if he doesn't do great for us, he'll get traded to another team. They'll give him a chance. Like he's going to be around for a while playing some good football, man, for sure.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for y'all, man. I'm excited for y'all. We're gonna find out next year. And once again, I think the biggest thing is the mystery in it, man. We don't know. I mean, y'all know what y'all are expecting, but I'm interested to see what he does when he's in, once again, I don't think there's a world where y'all sign back Sam Darnold. It's gonna be JJ McCarthy, and hopefully Sam Darnold's not.
You don't think there's a world?
I don't think there's a world. I really don't.
I think there's a world. I think there's a world. I don't want to live in it.
Nah, I think for the reasons that you said, man, stick to the plan and overall. Yeah. I mean, why even when you think about a financial part, we just talked about the cap space is not real, but let's talk about it from the financial standpoint. Why am I paying Sam Darnold when I got a JJ McCarthy on a rookie deal? Like, let's see what we got in our rookie quarterback that once again, you guys believe in him. Y'all drafted him for a reason as well. Y'all believe in him. So let's see what he got. And Sam Darnold, we appreciate you, but sayonara. Same thing on the Giants point, man. I'm not seeing Sam Darnold either.
I think what's on Sam Darnold's side is that he's young. So, like, think about this. Sam Darnold's only 27, about to be 28. It's crazy to think that Sam Darnold and, like, the Bo Nixes and shit, and even Jaden, because I think Jaden Daniels is 25, too. Because a lot of those guys, you know, they were redshirted freshmen and then had the COVID year and stuff, I believe. Yeah, so, like, a lot of those guys, they're 25, I believe, and you can double check that age. But you know, I think Sam Darnold's 27 or 20. He's no more than 28. I know that. So think about that. He's been in the league for 7 years, dog. And he's only 2 years older. Than 7 years of NFL fucking play, bro. I hope your boy ain't in here while I'm cursing no more, man. My bad. Hey, listen, and real quick about that dude. Like, how are you a Giants fan watching Giants content creators and you don't accept cursing? Bro, every Giants content creator I watch, especially the ones that are from New York, bro, it's a F-bomb every 30 seconds, man. I'm telling you, it must be going in, man. You know, especially when your team losing. You know?
There's definitely been a lot of moments where that's been around. So I'm not blaming you either, man. You know,
y'all get nasty with it. Nah, for sure, man. Nah, but hey, but I'm gonna tell you though, man. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's gonna be a fun offseason for both teams, man. Us and you guys. You know, I think both of our teams are obviously in different situations right now. We're in a better situation for the most part, but it's all good.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, man. You just gave me a golden egg that I didn't know. I didn't know Sam Darnold was this young. Sam Darnold's younger than Joe Burrow. Like I did not know this. I really did not.
That's what plays. That's why I say that's what plays in his favor is you technically can sign him to a 3-4 year contract, bro. He's still gonna be early 30s at the end of that contract. Like he's still super young. So I mean, that's what, like, if he was a 32-year-old, 33-year-old, you're talking different right now. But being that he's still in his 20s, man, it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, if your team does believe, you know, hey, he won 14 games, he played great. Hey, this could be our franchise quarterback. Like if we can get that out of him, imagine what we can get 2 years in the same system. Like this was his first year in the system. Imagine what we can do with a whole nother offseason of him now really knowing the system like the back of his hand, going into another season. Is it worth it? And I think our team's actually going to have those conversations. I don't think my team is just going to say, whatever. They're going to have those conversations. And KOC, I don't know, man. Something about KOC tells me that although he picked JJ McCarthy, man, I think they would be willing to maybe make that trade. You feel me? I don't think it's going to happen, but I will say I believe there's still a slight possibility because Kwesi's big on, capitalizing off things like that too. So it's up in the air, man. It really is. I think it's more leaning JJ, but I still believe there's a slim possibility that there could be some trade talk because they do understand that JJ McCarthy's the best quarterback in this draft class. If they look at it like that, being that he didn't play, you can just kind of compare him to the Shadors, the Cams, and all that. And it's one of those things where it's like, hey, what can we get for him right now? Will somebody give us their second pick in the draft? Will Cleveland give us the number 2 pick? You know what I mean? And some? Will they? So we can get Abdul Carter?
Yeah, which that would be insane. And you just reminded me of something, so I'm gonna make sure I ask you this question after this. Coming for the Giants' sake, right? Like, let's say, because I think it would be malpractice for y'all to not even discuss it. Like, it's gonna be discussed, and y'all got a little bit of time to talk about it. Because once again, I do believe there's a world where if JJ McCarthy wins 7 games next year, there's gonna be fans clamoring, we should have kept Sam Darnold. We should have kept him around. Like there's gonna be fans that talk about that. It's just natural. But for the Giants' sake, right? Let's say he does become available and they say, give me your first round pick and we'll give you JJ McCarthy. The Giants could have drafted him with the number 6 overall pick and decided not to. I don't think in a year's, and I know, some people could say they should have taken, Michael Penix or Bo Nix or once again, JJ McCarthy. If they didn't take him at 6, I don't think there's a world where they give up the 3rd overall pick to go get him. It's just truly, right? Like that looks even worse on your part. You could have had the quarterback a year ago at the number 6 overall pick. You passed on him for a reason. What in a year's time makes you kind of change on that stance? The guy, and I know I keep clamoring on it. It's just the truth. The guy hasn't played any football. He didn't play any regular season snaps. So from a Giants standpoint, the evaluations that you made, what in a year's time before you being desperate, besides you being desperate, has changed so you go trade your 3rd overall pick for him? I don't think that's a chance that the Giants should take. And I wanted to ask you this. This is coming off of the quarterback conversation a bit. KOC, right? Once again, he's going to be back next year. He's made it to the playoffs 2 times. Does it worry you a bit that he's lost in the first round both times that he's been in the playoffs? And let's be completely transparent. I know what it is with the quarterback position. Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold. Y'all were favored in both games. The game against us, you're supposed to beat the Giants. You don't beat the Giants. The game against the Rams put up a hell of a fight against the Eagles yesterday. We saw it, but overall, you're still taking the Vikings over the Rams. Is there any doubt in your mind about what KOC can be as a coach and, in the big moments like a playoff game? Like, is there any doubts there?
Nope. None whatsoever. None. Absolutely not, man. I'm going to keep it real. I'm that Vikings fan that is riding for KOC. Like I stated earlier, this offseason, I'm going to meet our community in the middle because there is a ton of our community that I'm not listening to none of the fire KOC bull crap. None of it, right? I'm not even going to go back and forth with any fan that thinks we should fire KOC, bro. I'm just not. But like if you're saying possibly him giving up offensive play calling, which I've made it clear, I just don't think KOC is going to do that. I think he enjoys it too much. I think that's his thing that he likes to do is draw up plays and come up with new schemes and be able to call them in the game. Like for him to pass that on, I just don't see it happening. I even said this. I bet you KOC would give up the head coaching job to be the offensive coordinator. That's how much he loves calling plays, right? But again, man, 0-2 in the playoffs, correct. But you know what? KOC hasn't been able to have his guys. This is where JJ McCarthy comes back into play in this conversation real quick. He's been to the playoffs with guys that weren't his first option. They weren't what he wanted. He inherited Kirk Cousins. He didn't handpick Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins had us by the nutsack already. The last regime before him. You know what I mean? So like He had to take that and kind of just do what it do, and he did good. And he likes Kirk Cousins. He worked with Kirk Cousins in Washington, so there was a relationship already established there. So I get it, right? But again, it's Kirk Cousins. We knew as Vikings fans. See, Kevin O'Connell was unaware. See, we had to remind him that, bro, I know you worked with him in Washington, bro. But listen, we've been watching him for the past 5 years, dog. We're letting you know right now, this isn't what you want to do. He
Yeah.
wanted to go ahead with it, and he learned real quick. Now, Sam Darnold, he might have picked Sam Darnold, but he picked Sam Darnold to be somebody as a bridge to just come in and kind of be in the QB room. He's smart. He has the athletic ability to maybe get somewhere, and KOC brought that out of him. But it's not actually KOC's guy that he went and picked. We got to remember, as Vikings fans, we brought KOC in the building to pick a quarterback, a franchise quarterback for this football team, to draft a franchise quarterback. That's what we did. The highest picked quarterback in Vikings history, Mr. JJ McCarthy. You feel me? Like, there's something there, bro. Like, yes. We've never picked a quarterback as high as JJ McCarthy, man. So there's definitely something there. There's a reason why. And that's why the fire talk is crazy. Listen, they're giving JJ McCarthy an opportunity to show that, hey, first of all, Kevin O'Connell, can you identify a franchise quarterback? Yeah, I got JJ McCarthy. Okay, let's see. We have to see, man. Like, that's the thing. That's why I don't want to trade him. If the talks come up, I'm gonna be a little frustrated, which I know they are gonna come up. Like I said earlier, I mean, it's not out of the realm, but again, man, like, Kevin O'Connell, I want to see you really prove to us Vikings fans, because as big as a fan I am of you, I'm going to hold you accountable, right? Like, you went out. I know about JJ McCarthy. I know he did his homework, but you better hope it pans out because that's why we brought you here. Yeah, that's why we brought you here, man. So again, man, I don't know, man. Like, Kevin O'Connell as a coach, man, like, I just think he's a great coach, a leader of men. Anybody who speaks about him, like people in the league, they tell you, bro, like, Kevin O'Connell, that dude, bro. Like, he really is. Does he have things he got to work on? Absolutely. Every coach do. Name a perfect coach in the NFL other than maybe, Andy Reid, if you want to throw him out there, because he just wins. That's no matter what, right? Other than that, I mean, every coach has things that they're not good at and they need somebody else to pick up the slack. Is that play calling for Kevin O'Connell? Some say, yeah. I'm kind of on the other side where I'm like, yo, we're one of the highest scoring offenses. Justin Jefferson be going off every season. The Jordan Addison going off. You don't get those perks if you're horrible at play calling. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I think it's more like situational things that he irritates us, because even me, like, more like situational type things. Like, yeah, the whole game, he's been calling a great game. But this last drive right here, it's third and 6, and you call this? Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, he'll always have a couple like why moments in the game that I think he needs to clean up. But one thing I like about him is I think he goes back to the drawing board, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why I like him, is because I know he reflects on the season and says, dang, missed that opportunity. What can I do to better that? What can I do to fix that? To where our coach before Kevin O'Connell, Mike Zimmer, old school coach. His way is his way. Like, he doesn't care. Whatever happened last year, oh, well, we're going to try it again. It'll work this time. You know what I mean? It'll work this time. Kind of like how your old coach, what was the coach before, the old guy?
Coughlin.
Same type of deal, right? Like, those coaches that coach back in the day like that, they're big on, hey, my way is my way. I don't care if the league is changing. We're playing it like this. If you're an offensive coordinator, you're going to play by my rules. I want to run the ball 30 times a game. I don't care if it's turned into a passing league and teams are putting up high numbers. We're going to run the ball, and then those teams get left in the dust. They usually become the bad teams for that year, that season or two. And, you got to find somebody that's willing to be innovative. That's what we have in a coach like KOC, man. He's innovative. And Brian Daboll is kind of, for your coach, I don't know. He seems borderline. He seems like he's almost like, I know he's not super old, but he seems like he leans more to the old school way of thinking, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, I think this team right now, and even for Brian Daboll's sake, I don't have any confidence in them overall. And it's funny hearing you guys talking about passing on the coach, the offensive coordinator, to somebody else, to play calling to somebody else. And I almost pulled it up real quick. I took it down, but overall, the Giants were 31st in scoring. Like, these are the conversations we have for
Did you
teams like
check us?
us.
Did you check us? Did it say what the Vikings were? Can you
So it
pull that up
actually
real
it
quick?
had you guys, but the scoring was a little weird. It had you guys like top 12. Um,
Okay.
but it was kind of going based off of like offensive touchdowns,
Oh,
and the
okay.
offensive
All right.
yard average, and it also includes
Gotcha.
your playoff average, which doesn't help, the rankings
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Gotcha.
I think overall you guys are definitely top 10. And prime example, you guys are having that conversation. Meanwhile, for us, I was hoping we could hit 15, bro. Like, go ahead and look at the stats. Like, we couldn't. It was a race to 20. If you score 20 on us, game's over. We could not put up points at all. So it's really funny to
Yeah.
hear the opposite end. Like, y'all had 14 wins, a lot of blowouts, and overall, we're sitting here with the bottom three scoring team. For what it's worth, you mentioned Mike Zimmer. For what it's worth, Mike Zimmer endorses Shador Sanders. So I don't know if you put any stock in that. Mike
Endorses
Zimmer,
them, of
yeah,
course. Well, that's because him and Dion are like really close friends. So of
yeah.
course he's gonna endorse that.
He was a defensive coordinator, and I'm saying, man, that's why Harbaugh's endorsing JJ. But no, it's all good. It's all good though.
Oh, okay.
But
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm chilling
Oh,
though. I'm
okay.
chilling though.
No,
Overall,
no, that's a fact though.
yeah,
Politically correct.
yeah, politically correct. Hey, shout out to Skull Train. I like the name.
Shout out Skull Chain, man.
Remember they were saying we're gonna get rid of Jets. The league thinks the Vikings are slow. Yeah, I mean, we almost on the same board with trading Dexter to Minnesota, man. Those talks were
Yeah.
over there too. So I mean, shoot, it's all
But
around
in
the same
hindsight,
board
though,
game.
y'all should have gave us Dexter, bro. Like y'all should have y'all would have got some, y'all would have had more draft picks this year. You could have got your boy Shador because y'all would have had an extra first round or two where y'all could have really traded up to the #1 spot this year. You feel me?
Yeah,
Got
maybe
Cam Ward.
maybe Jackson Dart is all a part of the plans. Maybe they know something that I don't, like you said, man. I think
Yeah.
maybe that's the chance. And that old school philosophy, once again, we're here talking about the Vikings and the Giants, but shoot, I think that old school philosophy definitely could have been applied to the Ravens, man. The Ravens do the same thing every year that it just, and I told you, for the people that don't
Yeah.
know, I reside in Central Florida. So sometimes I root for guys that are from Florida. Lamar Jackson's from Florida. I've definitely been rooting for him since he's been in the league, and I just want to see him get over that hump. But in the
Me too.
playoffs, the same thing happens every single year. You get
Yeah.
into a matchup, they're running the ball, they're not having success early on, and I feel like the team starts to panic a bit. They start saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
let's throw the ball, let's get back into it." But that's not how they won all year. All year they haven't done that. Saquon Barkley, you see what it was for the Rams, and granted, I mean, he killed the Rams in their first matchup, and he killed them yesterday. But
Yeah.
Derrick Henry, give him a couple more cracks at it, is going to end up breaking through. They abandoned the run one of the quarters. I think the third quarter or the fourth quarter, they like completely abandoned it. And yeah, I mean, people were I was talking about it at work today with a couple different people. They're like, I mean, if Andrews catches that and they tie up the game, I mean, the game could have been a different story. I can sit here and say if Lamar Jackson doesn't fumble the ball, if they don't throw an interception, like, I don't want to sit here and look at one drop and say that's the reason. It's just I'm over the MVP.
Nah, but
I'm over
that
those
was
type of things,
nasty though.
bro.
Nah, that was nasty though, bro.
It was.
That was nasty, bro.
It was. But we're talking about Lamar Jackson only threw 4 picks all year, man. Like, he only threw 4 picks, and he doesn't turn the ball over in the regular season. And in the playoffs, in the biggest moment against it's a really good team, they crack, man. They do.
But it was also snowing out there, like sleeting and all type of stuff. Like, I mean, yeah, it's no excuse. He turned the ball over. Usually, you turn the ball over that many times, you're not going to win football games. But I say, only reason why I say it's nasty work is because the one turnover was Mark Andrews trying to run backwards. He fumbled it. That changed the game right there. And then dropping that 2-point convert, bro. Now that's not. I thought about it this morning and I heard a Ravens podcast. You know, I tapped in with them just because I'm like, I just, sometimes it helps me get through my pain, listening to other teams' pain. You know what I mean? So like, it's like, let me tap into some Ravens because I couldn't imagine, right, being a Ravens fan this morning. And it's one of those things where it's like, Mark Andrews, man, not to say that they would have won if he caught it. I mean, it ties the game up and then you still have a minute and some change on the clock for Josh Allen them to go down and kick a game-winning field goal. So it's not to say they would have won the game, but Lamar Jackson willed them into the game. That's what's amazing about it too, is all of that, and you still had a chance to win this football game. And it was put on Lamar's back, man. He was like 4 for 5 on that last drive, going all the way downfield. So, I mean, dog is a beast, man. But I do get it, though. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to be judged by it. Can you get over the hump, like you said?
Yeah.
And that's what they're going to hold Lamar Jackson to. But anybody who sits back and thinks Lamar Jackson isn't a good quarterback is bugging, dog.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, shoot, he might be the MVP. I mean, a lot of people say he's going to be the MVP. Josh Allen has a good chance to be the MVP, but
yeah, he does.
Like I said, and you said at the end of the day, you know, things get looked at differently. In 5 years, dog, if Lamar never gets over the hump, we're not even going to be talking about Mark Andrews in a drop on a 2-point conversion. You know, we're just going to talk about Lamar doesn't get it done. That's just what it ends up being. You know, it really ends up being that way. I hope he can. I really do. And shoot, I mean, yeah, Josh Allen can beat Lamar, but can he beat the Chiefs? That hasn't happened yet in the playoffs.
And that's the thing. The same thing might happen with Josh Allen next week. Next weekend, you know, the internet will be having the same conversation about Josh Allen if he doesn't win. They're going to say, oh, this man chokes every year against the Chiefs. And this, I mean, you know, but that's what makes the game fun, man. You know, it's a tough sport out there, man. It's hard to win in this league, bro. We see that. But it is looking like the same teams are making it over and over again. And that's always something good for people like me, you. Shout out TP in the building, man. You know, me, you, guys like TP Way too, because we look at these teams like the Rams, I mean, like the Bills, the Chiefs, the Ravens. Although they're fighting, trying to get over that hump, they're getting there consistently. So what separates our team, because my team's in the same boat as yours when you talk about that. Right? When you talk about success. I mean, if we're going to keep it a buck, you guys have had more success than us in the last 4 years, or we can just say 3 years since 2022, because you guys made it to a playoff and actually won a playoff game. Right? Like, yeah, we win 14 games in a season, but like at the end of the day, none of it matters if you can't win in the playoff, bro. The pain is the same. Like straight up, like if we would have won 3 games this year, I would have much rather that. So I can at least be looking at who to draft, who we going to bring in. Winning 14 games, being considered one of the best teams in the NFL. And then it's not, and it's how we lost too. You know, and I know I went on the rant earlier, but it's how we lost. I look at all the playoff games over the past 2 weekends. At least the games were competitive, bro. It looked like teams were supposed to be there. We scored 9 points, bro. Like we looked like we got sacked 9 times. We look like a 2-win football team in the playoffs, bro. Yeah. How many other teams would have loved to be in our shoes and would have actually played football that night? And yet we go out there and that's what we put out on the field. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. It's frustrating, bro. It's frustrating that all the other games were competitive except for ours, bro. We got blown out. So that's what pisses me off, man.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, this was kind of a narrative around the league. You guys were a 14-win team that ended up playing on the road. I think people talking about potentially changing the reseeding and changing things, knowing you, right, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think you're on that bandwagon where you're on board to change the seeding. And you guys won 14 games, but maybe if you were at home, you would have won. I think win your division, you get the home game, bro. Like it don't matter what it is. That's your division rival. I mean, why am I gonna go ahead and give you guys an opportunity to have a home game just because of your wins? Y'all could have beat, you know, Detroit in the last game of the season, and y'all would have been home or not even playing the first round, you know? So, yeah, I just can't believe that narrative was starting to get tossed around, and I understand it. I mean, 14 wins and being on the road sounds like a crazy logic, but at the end of the day, man, the Lions were the best
but it was a neutral site, bro. We had more fans in there than they did.
And it was neutral because of the fires that happened. You're 100% right. Yeah. So I don't understand where that narrative came from, but we know what happened with the Lions too. So I mean,
man, shout out the Commanders, man. Let's go. Shout out the Commanders, baby. I'm a Commanders fan, man. They gotta win it all, man. Shit. Hey, look, I know y'all don't want to see that, but guess what? At the end of the day, it's sticky with you guys because one of your rivals is going to the Super Bowl regardless, right? It's either going to be the Eagles or the Commanders. One of those two teams are going to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, y'all got to deal with it either way.
Insane. Shout out to my guy TP though. Once again, make sure y'all subscribe to TP. We had him
Yeah,
on
no, that's a
stream. Both,
fact.
I think you had him on stream a couple times, so definitely subscribe to my guy
You
TP.
know, that's my boy.
And if you in the
Yeah.
chat, TP, go ahead and let me know, man. Overall,
Yeah.
is Sam Darnold or JJ in play? You let me know, man. You let me know where you stand on that. But like we were just talking about overall, man. Like I love the stream that you went on where you were just talking. You got on that stream like the Vikings won, man. You got on that stream talking about the Lions lost, and I'm not gonna lie, I love to see it. I love the energy like that because that's what it should be. That's
Entertaining.
definitely what it should be.
Yeah.
When it comes to these rivalries, and I mean, like you said, they've been talking all year. You told me in the text, like, they've been talking all year because of this 1 year, and in the end, man, hey, we all sitting on the couch. They didn't win a playoff game, right? They had the first round bye. They didn't win a single playoff game, so.
Right. And I'm gonna tell you, man, like I told you too, I know we were gonna touch on this, is the line. This is the thing with Vikings and Lions fans going back and forth, is we never had an issue with them. Like, you can even go back to when I started YouTube, in 2022, where I'm saying on lives when we're talking about the Lions, we're like, I got Lions content creators coming on, and we're like, yo, much respect to you guys and your fan. We have no issue. There's no static. There's no smoke. Bro, they start winning, and then it just turned left. Like, you know what I mean? It just started stabbing us in the back. You know what I mean? Forgetting where they came from. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Not with R.A. Peasy representing the Vikings in my community, boy. We with all the pettiness, man. Like, for real. We are with it. So you want to play that game? Okay, let's play. And I told them after they beat us, I say, it's cool. Y'all beat us. Be patient, though. I told all they fans that were in my chat, y'all better hope y'all win the Super Bowl, because if not, y'all gonna hate me. I'm telling you right now. And sure enough, now they do. I mean, I even got posts tonight going viral on X with, me dissing them and stuff like that. So it's fun, though, man. Like, that's what we do it for. You feel me? But Lions fans, man, they got big-headed, man. They started getting a little bit of wins, and now all of a sudden, they big-headed. But we started the FTL. Shout out Scoliosis, man. FTL, you already know. And I'm glad they lost, to be real. I would have been rooting for them, to be honest with you. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't want them to win a Super Bowl before us. But if it wasn't for the group of fans that we have to deal with now and just their fan base, bro, I would have not minded saying, hey, let the Lions make it to the Super Bowl. Just don't win it. It's cool, And if you do win it, hey, we got to hear about it. But now I'm like, hell no. Know what I mean? No. I want everybody to stomp them out. And next year, it's gonna get spicy for them. You know what I'm saying? I think they might have the worst fan base, bro. Like, they might be up there with the Eagles almost now, bro. Like, I'm telling you, that's how bad the Lions fans, bro. You ain't running to them yet, because they've been a poverty franchise for so long. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna tell you now, if y'all play them and you gotta go head to head with them, and you're on X, bro, tapping in, bro, you gonna see, bro. Boy, yeah,
That's
no,
insane.
they different.
I mean, like you said it. I mean, ask me about a Lions fan 2 years ago. I probably never even seen one. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really haven't seen one. And I mean, granted, shoot, they've been good the past 2 years. I'll give it to them. They've been good, but they haven't been nowhere yet.
Yeah.
They literally have not been anywhere yet. So I mean, definitely that FTL. That's hilarious. I haven't heard that.
FTL, that's a fact.
That stream
for
was
life.
funny. Here's TP's take. JJ is nice. I doubt the Vikings are giving him up. I'm good on Sam Darnold. We don't have the coaches that can do for Sam that the Vikings did for him. I 100% agree with that, man.
TP, he coming back to the Big Apple, man. I told you, man, it's over with.
He is not. Dang, Sarah with the energy.
No, Sarah go in. Like, she the one. Hey, she be going in.
This is funny, man. I love it, though. Once again, for the love of the game, man, I love it. I love it overall. And once again, like, thinking about where y'all gonna be next year. Shoot, people were acting like Jared Goff is that guy. Like, he's him. People forget this is not what we seen from him yesterday, or 2 days ago. Sorry, on Saturday night. This is not new information. This team went out and won a game that he threw 5 picks in, but nobody kind of thought about why is he throwing 5 interceptions. Like, I just don't understand why they act so shocked that Jared Goff can do this. Like, he's always been this guy. He's always been like he's serviceable. I think Sam Darnold-esque in his own way, right? He's serviceable.
No, man. No, Jared Goff, the last of the Mohegans, man.
I don't think you can lean on him like the other quarterbacks that are remaining. The other quarterbacks you can you're not leaning on him in the same way. So
no. if you don't got an offensive line, bro, which again, the Lions built their team. Shout out Adnan in the building, man. My guy, what's good, man? Like they built their team to be able to place a quarterback like Goff behind the offensive line. They invested obviously big money in their offensive line, and not really money, but draft picks. You know, they were intentional about building their offensive line over the past couple years, which is something that the Vikings need to do going into this season to be real. But it's one of those things where you, with that offensive line, you can have a quarterback like Goff, right? But like, if anything happens on that old line, Goff is going to, boy, I'm gonna tell you right now, boy, you better hope that offensive line stay intact because he's the last of the Mohegans, man. Listen, I've been screaming this. Anybody in here, Adnan, Skull Mafia, Scoliosis, all of us that's been on my channel and we've been doing shows for the past 3 years talking about the type of quarterback you need. All right. They come in all different colors, shapes, because I know people will say, oh, that means you just want a black quarterback. No, they come in all different shapes, colors, all of that. But there is a type of quarterback that is obvious, right? That you kind of need to win. Is it a team sport? Yes. But if you look at line up all the quarterbacks right now that are still in the playoffs, line them up next to each other. You know what I'm saying? And look at their skill sets. Bro, I mean, you tell me. You know what I'm saying? You tell me.
Yeah.
Straight up. You tell me. I mean, the evidence, I'm not pulling this shit from thin air, bro. This shit is right in front of us. And it's been in front of us for the past, I don't know, since 2018. You know what I'm saying? Like, straight up, man. It's been in front of us, bro. There's a certain type of quarterback that succeeds in this league. And the big majority part of it is you got to be mobile, man. You got to know how to improvise. If you're not an improviser, bro, if you a pocket quarterback, I don't want you.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it real because that's over with. Will it come back in 10, 15 years? Possibly. Possibly. There's a chance. But I'm going to tell you, these defenders are getting faster. Their rush moves are getting better. These linebackers are getting smaller, which means what? They're getting faster and quicker. They're chasing shit down, blitzing a lot more. Like, bro, you have to be able to change with the game and figure it out. That's why I hated signing Kirk Cousins to extensions. He is not him. The Falcons had to learn the hard way. He is not the style of quarterback you are going to win with. Period.
Man, that was a funny dynamic I was watching, you know, all season. Especially you talking about Kirk Cousins, and we were on stream talking about Kirk Cousins before, but seeing you on X, you know, every week checking in on the Falcons, you know, they had that little stretch where they were winning a couple games, and the moment they were coming down to earth, man, you were on it, man. He gets benched in his first year, like that's what shows me. And I know we're going back to the Browns a bit when I talk about it, but that's why like everyone's telling me Deshaun Watson's on there. They have a high cap hit. They're not drafting a quarterback. That stuff does not exist no more, man. It doesn't. They signed Kirk Cousins that big deal, drafted his replacement in 8 games, and went ahead and started him the second half of the season. Like that stuff where like a quarterback's on the team and we can't do those moves. Even take me back to when Jalen Hurts was drafted with Carson Wentz on the team, man. Like that whole notion that, oh, there's a quarterback on there, they're not drafting a quarterback. I'm not sold on that, man. TP saying Shador for sure. 100%. Once again, shout out to Anon. Andre, what's going on? Yo, boys, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
Hey, TP, real quick, man. I got to tell you too, TP, while you in the building, man. You know, Juke was talking Shador too. I'm going to tell you, man, there's something about Shador I wouldn't be pounding the table for, man. I think he's slow, bro. I think he processes slow. He moves around slow. I don't think his play style is good for the NFL, bro. I just really don't, man. I'm just keeping it honest, bro. Like, I think he's going to piss y'all off more than he's going to make y'all happy. I think the name obviously screams. And again, Drew could tell you, TP, man, I loved everything about Colorado, man. I wish they could stay in college for 10 more years, man. I love all the hype, all the, recording the vlogs in the locker room. I'm with all of it. You feel me? I'm consuming it and love it too. Love Deion Sanders. Love everything about everything he does for those young men. And really, people sleep on Deion, man, but Deion really changes these young men's lives and really makes them, take accountability and stuff like that. And stuff like that I love. You feel me? But when it comes to him being an NFL quarterback, man, with his play skill, I think he holds the ball too much, bro. I just think he holds the ball too much, bro. I think y'all gonna regret if y'all go Shador, bro. Don't look at the name and think, oh, his pops was a savage and he gonna. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
gonna be Jackson Dart, baby. Jackson Dart. I'm telling you, you better jump on board now. Juke, pound the table, man. Jackson Dart,
Yeah.
get your fan base on it. I'm telling you.
Trust me, we got Jackson
I
Dart
don't
video.
even think Cam Ward that nice.
Really?
I
Really?
like Cam Ward, but I don't think he that nice, bro. Did you see him play in Washington State?
Yeah. Yeah. He's had his time in college. I didn't watch him. No, I don't think too many people watch him in general, but I mean, he bursted onto the scene in Miami. Like, you didn't really hear his name. I remember hearing his name when he played at Washington, but this year was obviously the year for him. And it happens to be in a weak quarterback class. And I always quote weak because I remember last year, everyone was like, man, there's a chance no quarterback is sitting in the first round. There's always going to be a guy, man. Like, there's always going to be some type of guy that ends up being talked about and blown.
They're
like
going
I said,
in the first. For sure.
Remember it, man. Jalen Milroe after the combine is going to happen. And I mean, Anthony Richardson is the reason why we're not top 2, because if Anthony Richardson played, they probably won that game. But I'm not big on Anthony Richardson. I think that whole
I was an Anthony Richardson guy. I ain't gonna lie.
You were?
Yeah, I was an Anthony. Yeah.
He was big on the Giants, right? Because the Giants were kind of picking, I think, like at 16 in that draft. They were picking late, and they were just like, "Hey, if Brian Daboll gets his hand on Anthony Richardson, what can he be?" I understand he has the tools. Launch it way down the field. We see those throws. He's inaccurate, man. He hasn't been accurate, and he hasn't been accurate consistently. So I think until he fixes that, which still early, but overall, even him tapping out of that game is gonna be what hangs over him for a while, like until he kind of redeems himself from that. Tapping out of a game is weak. That's weak.
Man. I kind of missed on the Anthony Richardson when I was Rich Gang. You know me, man. Juke. I always come up with like a name for whoever we rocking with it. So it was Rich Gang, man. We was Rich Ganging the whole off season. We was with it. Look, it's still the jury's still kind of out on him, right? Because he did get injured and sat out majority of last season. I think he only played like 4 or 5 games, and then he missed the rest of the season. So it's still out on him. So, but I'll take it as an L though, as far as like me thinking he would come on the scene and be good. But it's also another thing, Sam Darnold, going back to Sam Darnold, what I said earlier, what it's teaching me is, when I evaluate now, I'm going to look into the situation, right? And that's another reason why I'm saying what I'm saying about Shador. I get TP say he's smart, IQ. I get all that. But I also look at the situation, right? He was the most sacked quarterback. There's a reason for that. We just went through that with Sam Darnold, getting sacked 9 times in a football game. And there was a couple of different reasons, but the majority of the reasons were holding on to the ball too long, trying to make the home run play. Instead of taking what the defense is giving you, you're trying to throw the bomb. And for that, you're going to have to hold the ball. And for that, you're going to get sacked if you don't get up out of there, right? And I think Shador suffers from that same type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like he does. And he suffers from that at the college level, playing, 2-star recruits at times, chasing his ass down, walk-ons. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't in the toughest conference. And I mean, he was getting walloped. You feel me? And a lot of it, if you watch Shador, it wasn't his offensive line. The first year, okay, right? The first year, we'll say 70% offensive line, 30% him. This past year, bro, it was like at least 60-40, bro. 60-40, where 60% of his sacks were self-inflicted wounds. You know what I mean? They were self-inflicted wounds, man. And this just is what it is. And when he gets into the NFL going to the Giants, let's say you get him, are you guys confident in your offensive line protecting him?
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest question, man. That's the biggest question. I haven't been confident in my offensive line in a very long time, bro. I haven't. This year, they were actually solid, and you know why? Which, once again, we haven't talked about the whole Giants drama, but with Joe Shane specifically, I mean, when you think about drafting a guy like Evan Neal, who everyone, I mean, granted, you watch college. I don't know. You're talking about quarterbacks. Yeah. Evan Neal was a slam dunk, like one of the best tackles in that class. That's what he was supposed to be. And this guy's not even playable at right tackle. Like, I think when you look at picks like that, it's kind of like why we're here. I mean, that you can't mess up.
Post that boy. Post his comment.
Post whose comment?
Post his comment. Play is for keeps, man. I'm gonna tell you, man. That boy no ball, man. I'm gonna tell you, he no ball, bruh. Facts. He
That's
no
funny.
ball, man.
I
Pound the
wouldn't.
table for Jackson Dart, man. Jackson Dart is that guy. He's the closest thing y'all gonna get to JJ McCarthy. I'm telling you.
I would have never thought I'm on my own stream with the skull horn, man. I would have never thought that. That's insane.
My bad. I had
But
to hit the
nah,
skull horn for that, man. You know
nah,
what I
you're
mean?
good. You're
Hey,
good. You're good.
hey, he got me excited. He got me
yeah.
excited for y'all, man. You know what I mean? Hey, look, man, I'm just happy as a Vikings fan. I ain't got to talk about quarterbacks.
Yeah.
We good.
Yeah. Listen, the Jackson Dart video is loaded once again, man. But shout out to Players for Keeps, though. Appreciate you jumping in. But yeah, man, I appreciate you jumping on for sure, bro. I mean, we've been chopping up for 2 hours. That time honestly flew. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat. The Skull gang definitely showed up, bro. They really did. So
yeah, man.
Shout out to y'all. Y'all got a lot of good things going on over there. Go ahead and let them know, man, where they can find you. What can they expect from you? And yeah, man, give you a little Astro.
Yeah, man. So appreciate you too for having me on, man. You know, reaching out, man. I got to get up with TP too, man. Me and TP got to do some stuff in the off season too, man. I like, you know, besides of it just being, you know, although I'm Viking centric, you're Giant centric, I think the off season is a great time for, you know, us, like people like me and you and TP and things like that, to be able to, you know, get together and just talk football. Like we talk about our teams, but we can venture off and talk about other things going around the city, man. I just think it's, I mean, in the league, it's just a great thing to do. So, man, I'm gonna make sure I link up with TP too and get something done. But man, follow me at Vocal Vike, man. I'm working on my TikTok too. I made a thing, you know, the band. I never used TikTok. I got one, Vocal Vike. Follow it. I've had it since I've started creating content, but I just never cared for it, never used it. My kids use it, my wife uses it. I'm like, you know, it just ain't for me. It seems childish, but I'm gonna go hard on there this off season, man. That's something that I'm gonna work on more. So follow me on TikTok, man. X Vocal Vike, Instagram Vocal Vike. You feel me? Tap in with me, man. We gonna be talking about 2 players that Raps pounding the table for the NFL draft for the Minnesota Vikings. Number 1, Kobe Bryant, cornerback from Kansas, which I'm gonna have him on the show. He's possibly going to be a first round pick, but he might be slipping to the second. We can get him at 24, I believe, which would be great. And then Ollie Gordon, the second from Oklahoma State University, running back. Those are my 2 players. Hey, all Vikings fans out there, y'all got 2 other players. I'm willing to hear it. Let's get it, man. We don't have to talk about quarterback. And for that, I am thankful, man. Let's go, man. Appreciate you, Drew.
Yeah, appreciate it, my guy. And TP said it himself, man. Giants playing the Vikings next year. That's something I forgot to highlight, man. We do play each other next year. I hope it's a different outcome, but I hope it's a different scenario, man. Give me JJ McCarthy, not official rookie year, but an official rookie year, and give me my rookie quarterback taking on, man. Jackson Dart versus JJ McCarthy. Hey, I'm letting you know right now. I'm clipping this up.
That'll be lit.
If it happens, man, I'm gonna call you out for it. Like you were.
Man, I'm gonna go watch some Jackson Dart film tonight. I love Dart, man.
I'm gonna have to go check that out, man. But yeah, man, once again, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Appreciate you for jumping on, Brody. And hey, I mean, unless we see a trade happen, it still can happen. If Sam Darnold comes back, we definitely need to be talking about it. But like you said, man, beyond Giants, beyond Vikings, man. We gonna see. If beyond Giants, beyond Vikings, man, we could definitely chop it up anytime. So I appreciate you, man. Shout out to everyone in the chat overall. Hope y'all had a good MLK day. And man, I will catch y'all on the next one. Make y'all subscribe to Vocal Vike. Subscribe to the Juke if you haven't already. And I'll catch y'all, man. Peace.